is Claude Mouton.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, bienvenue à ce match de hockey international tant attendu, mettant aux prises les joueurs du club sportif de l'Armée Rouge et vos Canadiens de Montréal. Good evening and welcome to this event of international hockey between the USSR Red Army team and your Montreal Canadiens. Introducing the starting lineup for the Red Army. Dans les filets, in the nets, le numéro 30, number 30, Sergei Melenkov. À la défense, en défense, le numéro 5, number 5, Alexei Guzarov. Le numéro 27, number 27, Igor Stelnov. À l'avant de forwards, le numéro 9, number 9, Vladimir Krutov. Le numéro 24, number 24, Sergei Makarov. Et le numéro 28, number 28, Viktor Tiyumenev. Et le reste du club de l'Armée Rouge and the rest of the Red Army team. L'instructeur, the coach, Mr. Viktor Tikhonov. Ses assistants, his assistants, Boris Mikhailov et Viktor Kuzkin. Mesdames et messieurs, il y a 10 ans, ce soir, nous présentions sur la glace du Forum un match de hockey entre ces deux équipes. Match qui fut qualifié à juste titre comme l'un des plus beaux matchs de hockey de l'histoire du hockey. L'édition 85-86 des Canadiens compte parmi ses joueurs actifs 3 joueurs qui ont disputé ce fameux match du 31 décembre 1975. 3 active players on the Canadian rosters played 10 years ago, December 31st, 1975, in a game between these same 2 teams, which was qualified as one of the best hockey games ever played. Je voudrais vous présenter ces 3 joueurs. I would like to introduce these 3 players, starting with the team captain, Bob Gainey. L'ailier droit, right wing, Mario Tremblay. à la défense, celui qui a joué le plus de nombre de fois contre les équipes internationales. On defense, Larry Robinson. Larry Robinson et Bob Gainey sont de l'alignement partant ce soir. Je voudrais vous présenter les autres. Larry and Bob are in the starting lineup tonight. Here are the others in the starting lineup. Dans les filets, in goals, le numéro 1, number 1, Doug Sotar. À la défense, on defense, le numéro 25, number 25, Peter Svoboda. Au centre, at center, le numéro 21, number 21, Guy Carbonneau. Et à l'aile droite, on right wing, le numéro 30, number 30, Chris Nyland. Accueillons maintenant les autres membres des Canadiens pour le match de ce soir. And the rest of your Montreal Canadiens. Accueillons également l'entraîneur-chef des Canadiens, Jean Perron, et son adjoint Jacques Lapérière. Voulez-vous maintenant, s'il vous plaît, vous lever et vous joindre à M. Guy Pichet, accompagné à l'orgue par Mme Diane Bibeau, pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux. Would you please now rise and join Mr. Guy Pichet, accompanied on the organ by Miss Diane Bibeau, for the playing of the national anthems. Mesdames et messieurs, le match de ce soir revêt un caractère un peu spécial en ce sens que dans quelques heures débute l'année 1986. 1986 marquera le 200e anniversaire de la brasserie Molson Limited. Everybody knows the involvement of the Molson Brewery and the Molson family in our national sport. 1986 will mark the 200th anniversary of the Molson Brewery, and we feel it is proper to invite for the official face-off a member of the Molson family, owners of les Montreal Canadiens. Je vous demanderai d'accueillir le vice-président du conseil d'administration des compagnies Molson Limited. I would like to invite the deputy chairman of the Molson Companies Limited, accompanied by the senior vice president of Club de hockey canadien, Monsieur Jean Béliveau. Mesdames et messieurs, voulez-vous accueillir Monsieur Eric Molson et Jean Béliveau. Comme c'est la coutume dans les matchs internationaux, les capitaines des deux équipes procéderont au centre de la glace à un échange de cadeaux souvenirs de cette rencontre. As it is customary in international hockey, both captains will proceed to an exchange of gifts. Les capitaines, Vyacheslav Fetisov et Bob Gainey. Et j'inviterai maintenant M. Eric Molson à faire la mise au jeu protocolaire.
Well, the ceremonies have been completed, and Ron, it's an exhibition game, but you get a standing ovation or two for the pregame introduction. Tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tells you something about New Year's Eve in the Montreal Forum. It is consistent, it has always been great, and I expect the same thing again tonight.
Bob, seems rather strange to see the Soviet skater and Tretiak isn't in the nets in this place.
A lot of new names, but they're still great skaters. We're looking forward to a great game tonight, and there's something about this building. Tradition, it's all over the place. The Canadiens will give 100% tonight.
And it all begins in just a moment. You're watching a Molson Hockey Special on CTV.
For the families, for the heart that beats in them, for the traditions that live in them, for the sharing and the caring and the loving and the warmth, for the peace of coming home to them, for the understanding that fosters growth in them, for the lessons they teach that can't be learned anywhere else, for the families, the joy they've brought and the joy they'll bring, for the big families and the small families, the about-to-be families, our Catelli family of pasta and sauces. In each, you'll find that special care we know it takes to make our family a part of yours. Catelli, we care to be a part of your family.
There's a National Hockey League officiating crew handling tonight's hockey game. Andy Van Hellemond is the referee. Wayne Bonney and Gerard Gauthier will be working the lines. And Ron, a couple of goaltenders who haven't been here before in this situation.
Sergei Malinkov in goal for the Central Red Army. And the last time we saw a Soviet team here, the name was Tretiak. So a new face, certainly. Not a new face, a veteran National Hockey League goaltender, Doug Sotard. who was making his first start ever against a Soviet team. And we're set to go at center ice as the Canadiens send Carbonneau out there along with Gainey and Nyland, and from the face-off it's Robinson clearing it through center ice and back into his own zone to pick it up is Gusarov. He's checked by Nyland. Also in there is Gainey as the Canadiens take the play immediately into the Central Red Army zone. Makarov trying to get out of the zone. He's checked, but out through center ice now come the Soviets. Over the line, carrying the puck is Stelnov, but he's checked up against the board. Still loose. Krutov trying to get the shot away, and he missed the net with it. Around the boards it comes. Out near the point now. It is checked away from Gusarov out to center ice. Down over the line comes Nyland, and the puck is kicked in. I think it was deflected in towards the goal by Fetisov. And back there is Gusarov now to pick it up. Cutting in front of his own net, he feeds it to Fetisov. The team captain for the Central Red Army, as well as the Soviet national team. It's cleared out to center ice now. Tyemenev can't knock it down, picks it up once again, circles back and drops it for Fetisov. Fetisov having trouble handling that puck. Now clears it to Swoboda. Swoboda checked as he came through center ice and turning with it. And starting right back out again is Homutov. Homutov back in over the line now and is taken away from him by Bobby Smith. Smith off the boards on the far side and is tipped out to center ice by Shel Dahlin. Cutting across ice is Kazatonov. Is left in the center ice zone, and it's Chernik. Chernik just tipping it out to center ice. Robinson to Smith. Smith's back in over the line, just dribbles it in. Having trouble handling that puck was Malinkov. It winds up in the corner. Fetisov unable to move forward with that puck. Homutov on the far side now, clears it behind the net. Fetisov as Naslund moves in on him. He unloads it on the far side to Homutov out to center ice for Bukov. Bukov hits the line, but he's checked from behind by Smith. And it's out at center ice once again. Homutov. Homutov back near his own line. Homutov just dumping it off. Chernik. Chernik inside his line and trying to set up now on the attack is Chernik coming through center ice, and he's forced back on the checking of McPhee. Now they'll try again. This time it's Bukov, but he can't hit the line. McPhee gets it. Green on the far side. That is Tremblay shooting it in. Strudlin moving in after it. The puck is loose in there, but back come the Soviets. Shepelev at center ice now. Shepelev checked by Tremblay, and it's cleared deep into the Canadian zone. Back to get it is Rick Green. Long time we've not had a whistle yet in this game. Out along the boards is McPhee at center ice. McPhee shooting it in. Tremblay going in after it along with Babinov. Now it's McPhee. McPhee backhanding it in there off the shoulder of Malinkov. And back comes big Grozdiecki for the Soviets. Grozdiecki over the line along with Zubin. Zubin is checked up against the boards by Lawler. They jam in there. Grozdiecki unable to control it. Now it's pushed in against the boards. In there doing some tough checking along the boards is Strudland. Also piling in there is Lawler, and he comes away with the puck. Lawler out to his own blue line to center ice. Lawler hits the line, clears it in deep. From behind his own net now, it is Babinov clearing it to center ice. Lawler shoots it, hit the back of Debois' leg. He clears it to the line, but not in. Now at center ice, Rooney. Rooney unable to control it, but Debois there, and he backhands it into the Soviet zone once again. Now back deep is Starikov. Out in front, Debois banned on it. Back come the Soviets. At center ice, carrying the puck is Vasiliev. Vasiliev to the line. There's the shot, and it was a whistler just wide of the net by Eric Kimayev. Cleared again to the blue line of the Soviets. Rooney tips it back in, and it's called on the offside. 4 minutes, 37 seconds gone, 3:37 without a whistle. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Warning. Zellers is mixing powerful savings and great Zellers merchandise, and the combination will blast everything out the door. Now, during Bargain Blast, tough Kodiak boots are just $49.97. Men's GWG and Levi jeans are $16.97, our lowest price ever. And boys' ski outfits are just $34.97. Heed our warning. Get to Zeller's Bargain Blast quickly, because savings like these could go at any time.
Saying today that the way to stop this Russian machine is to take them out through the middle, and the Canadiens have done that for over 3 minutes of this first period, and they've had some pretty good chances. Let's see if it continues.
From the face-off, it's deep inside the Soviet zone. Carbonneau picks up a loose puck, tried to force it in front, but bottling up the lane in there and preventing it from getting in front was Soviet defenseman Gusarov. Now deep inside the zone. They clear it rink wide. It's off Robinson's stick. Out in front. Now they clear it across the goal. Now Timonev to Makarov, and Makarov banned on it. He had the open side. Just couldn't put his stick on it. Krutov going after it behind the net, but Robinson gave it to Svoboda. Back to Robinson. Out at center ice. 2 lines on that. And we'll have a face-off again in the Soviet zone.
Now the Central Red Army team has been in this part of the hockey world now for a week, and this is game number 4. They have a record of 2 wins and a loss, beating LA and Edmonton, losing the other night in Quebec City. Here's that chance. Makarov off the side of the net. Wasn't in the right position, Bob. Went right through his legs.
You know, they usually pass it right on the stick. That time you're right through the skates. But for that, it would have been 1-0. Red Army. Look at that.
Face off once again. Fetisov clearing it in front, and it's deflected wide of the net. Naslund picking it up along the boards, tried to shovel it out near the line. Smith's got it to Dahlin. Dahlin turning, giving it to Smith. Smith just took the check and unloaded the pass into the zone. Naslund hustling after it, but Kazatonov beat him to it. And it's back near the line now, and Green has got it. Green in deep. Canadians trying to control in there as Dahlin loses to Kazatonov again, and Kazatonov sends it out near the line and to center ice. The Soviets moving through center ice. It's Homotov. Homotov trying to catch a breaking Fetisov. That was poked away, and here comes Naslund now. Naslund over the line. Naslund with Dahlin in front. Dahlin, they drop it back out in front as they couldn't force it through. Defense had the alley block, and it's back out at center ice now. Back in over the line comes Chernik. Chernik in front of the net. Now here's a shot taken by Fetisov. Back up the Canadians. The Soviets caught on a change as Naslund over the line with Trombley. Trombley gets the pass. Naslund banned on it. Fetisov picks it up. Rink wide pass. Diving to save that pass was Chernik. It's near the bench, picked up by Lawler now. He clears into center ice off the stick of Trombley, and it's cleared back out to center ice by Fetisov. In over the line comes McPhee to Strudlin. Strudlin turning. He's got Ludwig at the point. Ludwig takes the shot. Up against the boards now McPhee. McPhee turning. Trombley moves into the area. Now Strudlin turning, trying to get it to Trombley, but it's cleared away by the defense. It's center ice Starikov clearing it down into the Canadian zone. There'll be no icing. Sotard steps out, leaves it for Ludwig, who's under checking pressure from Zubin. Out near the line now, it's cleared out to center ice. Starikov's got it there. Starikov ahead for Zubin. Zubin's check. Moving up is Babinov. Babinov to Grozjetsky. Made a good move at the line, but put himself offside. No score in the game. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
Brian.
Yeah.
Had a lot more room without that wall.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
No.
Hey!
Where you been?
I just got back from the doctor's.
Oh, yeah. Any excuse to get out of work.
No, it's Nancy.
Everything okay?
We're gonna have a baby. Hey, that calls for a beer.
Yeah. Let's call it a day.
Drinking your export.
Here's to the new father.
Hey, here's to 3 new uncles.
'Cause it keeps on tasting great.
Dick, it's the old thing again. Too many passes, maybe. Lots of times you could get a shot away and that extra pass. Canadians, though, had 2 or 3 good opportunities for the 2-on-1.
And up at the other end right away. What's the phrase? End to end? We had that for a while. Not many whistles, Ron.
No, not at all. Swoboda deep in his own zone behind the net for Robinson. Ahead for Walter now. Walter out of center ice and breaking pass down to Deblois. Deblois is tackled as he cuts to the net, and there's going to be a penalty. Canadians control the puck inside the zone. Walter now on the delayed whistle up against the boards trying to control it. Finally it is controlled by Gusarov for the Soviets, and the penalty will be called. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Money. Money in action. Working for your business non-stop. That's the promise of the Continental Commercial Banking System. An exceptional combination of cash management and financing that turns money into a hard-working, moving part of your company. To get action banking for you and your business, talk to the Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
I don't think they play football in the Soviet Union, but Igor Stelnov gave us a pretty good idea what a downfield tackler should do as he hauls down Lucien Debois. So the Canadians go on the power play, first one of the hockey game. And they have the best power play percentage in the National Hockey League, so this will be interesting.
Well, the power play for the Soviets is 1 for 11. That's 9.1%, and their penalty killing is 100%. So special teams aren't a big factor with the Soviet club, but now they're facing the best in the business as far as the NHL is concerned anyway. Here's Dahlin, shot right on. Dahlin again, and he hoisted it wide. Naslund in the corner now. Watch this Canadiens power play. It's bounced in front of the net, deflected away from Robinson. He dives for it, keeps it inside the zone, but now the Soviets will come away as Makarov gets it to center ice. He's with Krutov up front. Kazatonov over the line. He's number 6. Krutov, the shot, the glove save is made. Now the Canadiens take over. Svoboda out at center ice now. He comes to the line. Svoboda forcing his way in over the line, but he lost possession to Krutov, and he shoots it back out. Robinson turning. Robinson ahead for Naslund, and again standing up at the blue line was Kazatonov. Now ahead to Makarov. Makarov trying to cut in front of the net now and just drops right back to center ice with it. Feeds it back to the defense. Fetisov. Fetisov now clears it into the Canadian zone, and Svoboda will go back and get it from Sotar. Svoboda for the Canadiens. No score in this game. Canadiens on a power play with 55 seconds left in the power play. Back in over the line come the Soviets now with Homotov taking a shot. It's juggled by Sotar, and he holds on for the faceoff.
Oh, I'll tell you, Bob, the quickness of the Soviets very much in evidence in this penalty-killing situation. After the first bit of pressure by Montreal, they've had none.
Well, Dahlin had the best chance of all, I think. He had a couple on the one move. It came right back to him after his first shot. I thought that one was going in. And then the backhander, and he missed the far side. Look at that. And Robinson was caught on this shift. He was out there a long time, and he was playing offensive also. Now he was right back there and got caught, and Soviets nearly went in for a shorthanded goal.
Rick Green from the faceoff behind his own net. Ahead for a breaking Bobby Smith. 40 seconds remaining in the power play advantage for the Canadiens. Smith to the line. Green turns, leaves for Smith. Smith forcing his way in, and then it's hooked away from him, and back out come the Soviets with Bobinov. Shooting it into the Canadian zone. Sotar to leave it for Green. Green behind his net. Leading off on the wing for Bobby Smith, who drops it back for Green. Green forced back on the forechecking of Homotov. Out at center ice, Bobinov can't control it. Homotov comes up with the puck. Homotov working back to the line now. Homotov. He is bumped momentarily by Tremblay, and then Tremblay chases after the puck. He's knocked to the ice from behind by Homotov, and the penalty has expired. The Canadiens were good early, but then had their problems with the penalty killing of the Soviets through the last part of the penalty. Back in over the line, Deblois takes a shot. It's gloved by Malenkov, and with Rooney breaking in on him, he holds for the face-off. No score. 8 minutes, 43 seconds gone in the first period. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
Look what just popped up. The new Sony Handycam. A video camera recorder so tiny, it fits in one hand. To capture every move and hear every sound. Just point and shoot and catch all the fun. The new Sony Handycam. Where will it pop up next?
National Hockey League President John Ziegler in attendance tonight. I thought I spotted him as part of the standing ovation for Bob Gainey when the Canadiens captain was introduced to begin the game.
Set for a face-off deep in the Central Red Army zone. Skrudlin taking the draw against Sergei Shepelev. From the face-off, out near the point now, it's just wristed into the corner by Ludwig. And Rozdzietzky back deep in his end, clears it out to center ice now. That's Shepelev. Shepelev knocking it off the boards ahead for Zubin. It winds up on the stick of the Canadiens, Craig Ludwig. Ahead, Skrudlin. Skrudlin crosses center ice and eases it down into the Soviet zone. Back there is Stelnov. Now loses to Lawler at the point now. Takes a shot. It dribbles in there. Lawler reaches for it, but it is knocked out to center ice by Shepelev. Back in over the line now. Rozdzietzky. Far side. Soviets start to move it now. At center ice, number 5 is Gusarov. Gusarov over the line now, trying to cut in front. It's knocked off his stick. Veselov against the boards, unable to control it either. Kept in at the line very neatly by Erik Gemayev. And Lawler has got it for the Canadiens. Lawler to the blue line to center ice. Now McPhee hops on that loose puck. McPhee got a shot away, but it was deflected partially by Kazatonov, who got his stick in front of it. Now here's Veselov. Veselov ahead for Vasiliev. Vasiliev is checked away from him. McPhee reaches for it. Dahlin too, and he manages to get it out to center ice with the help of Bobby Smith. Smith to the line. Smith trying to hustle around Kazatonov, using that reach if he can, but Kazatonov managed to squeeze him out behind the net, and the Soviets are back. Vasiliev at center ice. Vasiliev hitting the line now, drops it off for Gimaev. His shot is off a leg, and it's Veselov. Veselov put it right on the stick now of Naslund. Naslund hustles to center ice along with Dahlin. Naslund shooting it right on, and it's gloved by Malenkov, and he holds on.
Well, that's Naslund, the second top point getter in the National Hockey League, behind Wayne Gretzky, and he has seen these Soviets, I'm sure, Bob, on several occasions in his European career.
You know, if anybody is going to score from this angle, it's going to be this young man. He had a look to the winger coming in and decided he'd try for that short side. Now watch him take dead aim. That time a good stop.
Sure, the European Scandinavians in the NHL, Ron, you know it. You talk to the boys and you ask them about the Soviets or the Czechoslovakian teams or whatever. Boy, they're right on top of it. They follow it very closely.
Well, they know them all. They know who the stars are, who to watch for, who's up and coming. As far as Mats is concerned, he's beaten a Soviet team once in his life. Here's Makarov over the line, and he's checked off the puck. Carbonneau tried to ease it into the corner. Robinson covering up on the play, and the Canadians try to break out quickly as Gainey can't handle that puck. Chases after it. He's squeezed up against the boards by Starikov. Gainey now behind the net for Nyland. Nyland with Krutov on top of him. Robinson just hoisted back into the corner. It hit referee Andy Van Hellemond on his way in. And now Starikov will try. He gets it to Tyemenev. Tyemenev drops it off for Krutov. The way they circle. Out of center ice now for Babanov. Babanov's to the line. And he is checked off the puck by Svoboda. Now ahead. Good outlet pass by Robinson to Carbonneau to Nyland. The shot right on. The rebound cleared into the corner by Gusarov. Now back near the line. Robinson getting it from Gainey. It's backhanded in now. Trying to turn around and get a shot away was Carbonneau, but he just couldn't handle the pass. And Malenkov steps out of his net and leaves it for Gusarov. He's number 5. Out at center ice. Checked away from Bukov. Back to the line it comes for Homotov. Homotov, good move, and the shot, but he's wide with it. It deflected into the corner. Now the Canadiens, there's going to be a penalty called, I believe, on Tom Kurvers. And so the Canadiens, for the first time in the game, are going to play shorthanded. No score, live from the Forum. Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Everyone knows that things often happen in threes, but they don't always have to be unlucky. Take Direct Film's holiday deal. Bring in 3 films and we'll process them for the price of 2. Did you get that? 1 film out of 3 processed free for any brand of film. There's never been a deal like it. Never.
Direct Film, one photo says it all.
But hurry, the 3 for 2 deal finishes January 11th.
Tom Kurvers of the Montreal Canadiens had experience against the Soviets as a member of Team USA in the World Junior Championships a few years ago in his hometown of Minneapolis. He draws the first Montreal penalty. Tripping is the call. So the Canadiens shorthanded. There is no score. A very quickly played first 11 minutes and 47 seconds of this one.
Well, out there on the power play, we've got Bukov taking the draw against Carbonneau. Green picks it up and he rattles it off the glass and down into the Soviet zone. The point men for the Soviets, number 5 picking up the puck is Gusarov. They're also using on the point Stelnov. The wink right pass there for Homotov. Homotov circles with it. The forward line, Homotov, Bukov, and Gerasimov. Now through center ice it comes. Chernik stopped up against the boards on the far side now. Will look for a man as he feeds it out to the point for Gusarov. Gusarov, Homotov out in front now, and unable to control it was Chernik. Winds up in the corner. Bukov just standing there. Bukov, watch that action in front of the net. As Bukov tried to force it out there, but Homotov couldn't get free. They roll it in front. Good chance there, Homotov, but he just couldn't get a decent shot away under some checking pressure, but he's got the puck again. Behind the net, and they shoot it right by Bukov to the boards on this side for Chernik. Out to the point now. Here comes the shot. That hit a leg. Still inside the line. Homotov clearing it into the corner now. Chernik Chernik leaving it behind the net for Bukov. Bukov clearing it out near the point. Will they keep it in? Yes. Kept in there by Gusarov. Into the corner. Back out now for Chernik. Number 22 circling with it. Back out. Gusarov. Here's his fake shot now as he gets to the far side. The shot rips in wide of the net off the stick of Igor Stelnov. Now Chernik again. Chernik getting set. They take their time. Out to Stelnov. Back to Chernik. Chernik shoots it over top of the net. They still haven't had a shot on goal. At the point now, it's Stelnov. Stelnov winding up. His shot deflects off the stick of Carbonneau and is deflected into the corner. That was passed ahead, it seemed to me, by defenseman Ludwig, but they jam it up against the boards and get the whistle in that fashion as Gusarov moves in, number 5. And 11 seconds remain in the penalty to Tom Kerber.
Oh boy, it's so important that the box is set up and keep them on the outside, and that is exactly what the Canadiens did. And that entire shift, they kept him on the outside. There's one man behind the net all the time trying to get somebody in close to the net. They nearly got a chance, but that's all, nearly. And hang on now, the Canadiens, for another 10 seconds. They'll be away and running.
The Canadiens wearing their red uniforms. Those uniforms were packed and ready for the Canadiens' trip, which is going to take place right after this game tonight to Toronto. They have a road trip for the rest of this week. Today, there were 3 or 4 sweaters stolen out of the Soviet locker room here at the Montreal Forum. So they had to change their whites, and the Canadiens had to unpack their reds and wear them.
And we don't get much help, do we, Dick? Looking down at those names on the back, they're in the Cyrillic.
There's one with no names, number 22.
Chernik. All right, here we go once again as Zubin brings it out to center ice. Penalty is over the line for the Soviets comes Shepelev. There's the shot. Big shot taken by Rozhetsky. Now Tremblay inside the zone. Shepelev. Ace checked by Robinson. Ahead for McPhee. McPhee's at center ice. Shooting it in. Tremblay after it. He goes in against Fetisov. Fetisov takes him out of the play. Puck winds up in the corner as Skrudlin's in there along with Tremblay and Shepelev. And it is held for a face-off. 5:50 left in the first period. Still no score in the game. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
Goodbye, Dan.
Hello, Joe.
Chola Billy.
Bowl of chili.
Pildickle.
Dale pickle.
And a model of Bolson Golden.
Gottle Bolson Mogan.
Molgan Golson.
Golson Mogan.
Molson Golson.
Moslin Golson.
The smooth one.
Ah, Golson Bolden.
Molson Golden. Smooth no matter how you say it.
Golson Molin.
2 years ago, this young man, Nikolai Drodzetsky, was the player of the year in Soviet hockey. He let the big slap shot go here a minute ago. Number 13, not too many players wear it. Sotart with the initial save, and the rebound bounced high.
Well, the guy who wore that with a great deal of honor for the Soviet Union is now an assistant coach with this team, right. Boris Mikhailov. Had all kinds of Soviet League records before his retirement a couple of years ago.
The team captain, was he not?
Yep,
2 years.
right.
He was team captain in the Challenge Cup Series in '79.
Back come the Soviets here with Zubin to the line, but it's checked away and out to center ice once again. Fetisov getting it to Kazatonov. Kazatonov ahead, and it's over the stick of Zubin. And there'll be icing here as Swoboda goes back to touch it. Face-off down in the Central Red Army zone.
Now there's Petr Svoboda, who is playing against Soviet opposition for the first time as a professional. But played against Soviet opposition during his junior career in Czechoslovakia. You know, in 1975, I've heard it and seen it written that it was the Stanley Cup champion Montreal Canadiens. They weren't the Stanley Cup champions. They were about to be, but the Philadelphia Flyers were at that time. And about 4 or 5 days later, Bob, you and I were at the Spectrum in Philadelphia when the Soviets walked off the ice for 18 minutes. Because they didn't.
Home?
They thought Bob Meyer should have called it. Who was the referee?
Oh, that was Gilmore.
Lloyd Gilmore. Should have called a penalty on Ed Van Imp. And you said they're going home.
On Harlamov, who got leveled. Back in over the line now. Here's Vasilyev. Vasilyev trying to clear it in front of the net. Veselov now turning up against the boards now. That quickness. But his best way to handle that is do what Larry Robinson just did to him. Finish the check. Now in the corner, Swoboda. Swoboda turning, feeding it back to Robinson. Robinson, Swoboda. Swoboda gives it back to Robinson again. Robinson fighting off the forechecking there, and the man who went down finally was Vasilyev. Now here's Dahlin. Dahlin with Naslund and Skrudlin as the line right now. Pass was behind Naslund. And Ludwig's got it. They'll finish the change now as the puck is backhanded by Ludwig down into the Soviet zone. Babinov coming out with it. Babinov forced back by the forechecking of Carbonneau. Rink wide, Starikov. Starikov turning against Carbonneau, and he'll start out now to the blue line at center ice. Homotov. Varnikov now to the line, and going to his knees was Makarov. And it is Ludwig. Hoisted into the corner. Krutov. Krutov turning. Krutov dropping it off now for Makarov. Makarov turning and getting on the backhand, then trying to wheel to his forehand. Tyumenev shoots it wide. Gusarov way up. There's a quick shot taken by Tyumenev. And Krutov at the rebound was unable to control it. Now Nyland trying to get out of his zone. At the point, knocking it back in underneath Nyland was Gusarov, but it's cleared out to center ice as Nyland just shoveled it out there with his gloved hand. Tyumenev dropping it back to the defense for Gusarov. There's a pass by Babinov. Krutov trying to handle it. Gets it in front. Shot. Scores. Makarov. Great three-way play.
I don't think he really got the kind of a shot away he wanted, but it was good enough as it went end over end up into the top of the net, just under the crossbar. The Army leads 1-0.
The Soviets have turned this thing around. The Canadians started the game forechecking and closing off the center ice area. On this occasion, they were allowed to come through the middle, and they'll find somebody open. Stotard was in there with a dizzy head after the power play, watching the passes around him. He couldn't move on this one. 1-0 Soviets.
That pressure came against the Canadians' best defensive forward line of Gainey, Carbonneau, and Nyland.
Well, Makarov will get the credit for the goal. Krutov was number 9. That's a great line for the Soviets. Tyumenev will be in the middle of that play. Puck is cleared down in over the line now, and Kasatonov is back there. Rooney intercepts a pass. Rooney clearing it in front, and is knocked away by Malenkov, the goaltender. Out come the Soviets again. It's cleared rink wide. Chernik has to circle back in his own zone now, trying to get away from Deblois. Batisov, number 2. Kasatonov at center ice. Bukov, he didn't get loose. Now it's Kasatonov again. Homotov, number 15. Chernik over the line now. Chernik cutting in front of the net, and is knocked off his stick by Rick Green, and Curvers has got it. He clears it out to center ice, and it's Batisov once again. Batisov timing that pass beautifully as he gives it into Chernik. Now to Bukov. Trying to get it in front. Kasatonov couldn't reach that one, and Green has got it behind his own net. Homotov forechecking as he unloads it to Curvers. Curvers at center ice, knocked down by Batisov. He's back inside his own zone, and Batisov ahead towards Rozjetsky. Big shot here. There it is, and he just missed the top corner with it. Now Green, McPhee. McPhee, number 35 for the Canadians, to Skrudland. Skrudland, Tremblay just relayed it into the Soviet zone. Babinov leaving it off. It is Zubin. Zubin through center ice. Zubin trying to get set, and he was knocked off his pins there by Curvers. Around the net it goes. They clear it out in front, but he threw it to the backhand of Starikov. Canadians unable to get loose, and it's still inside the blue line. Soviets really buzzing around here as it's cleared ahead for Shepelev. Up against the boards now. Turning with it against the checking is Zubin, and finally Skrudland pins him in there. Coming in to help out is Shepelev. Shepelev, number 27, checked by Skrudland and Tremblay. Tremblay digging it loose, and he gets it to McPhee, and he gets it out to center ice. Babinov ahead for Rozjetsky. Rozjetsky up against the boards now. Gets it to the point. It's shot wide of the net by Gimayev, and it's Green hooking it out of the netting behind the Canadiens' goal. In the corner, Veselov is the forechecker. Batted away by Skrudland. Skrudland firing it off the boards, but they can't get it out. Gusarov there, clearing it into the corner once again. Veselov behind the net. Vasiliev. He's checked. Green with 1:06 remaining in the period. Canadians trailing in this game 1-0. It's finally pumped up to center ice. Gusarov getting it. He gets a return pass. Now at center ice, tried to hit a moving Vasiliev. 18 is Gimayev. He can't control it. Gusarov will try again. Gusarov backhanding it into the Canadian zone. Green is in there. Also in there is Veselov. And it's Ryan Walter. Walter ahead. Naslund swinging back with it now. Naslund working his way to the blue line to center ice, and he couldn't hold on to that puck against the checking of Makarov. Now it's cleared off the boards and down the ice. With 22 seconds remaining, icing will be called and we'll get a face-off. Live from the Forum, the Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Today, the Soviet Union has officially entered professional boxing.
Drago is the most perfectly trained athlete ever.
Rocky, has the fight been set yet?
It's in Russian. Are you nuts? I must break you.
Rocky IV. Now playing at a Famous Players Theater near you.
In our first period intermission, Brian will talk live with Montreal's Bob Gainey. I'll get the referee's perspective from Andy Van Hellemond. We'll also talk to NHL great Jean Beliveau.
20 seconds remaining in the period. 1-0. The Central Red Army leading the Canadiens. Shots on goal favor the Canadiens, but that's a deceptive statistic, I would think, Dick.
The last 5 minutes, the Canadiens have been totally bottled up in their own zone. Almost a steal there by Carbonneau. It's been a one-sided hockey game through that stretch.
Here's Krutov breaking in one-on-one and diving and knocking it away at the last instant with Swoboda. Good play. Up against the boards as the siren goes and the period ends.
Well, Bob, the Canadiens are a pretty good skating hockey club, but they were outskated through the latter stages of this first period.
Because they stopped hitting. They stopped forechecking and they stopped hitting in their own end. The first 10 minutes, it was fine. But after that, all Soviets. I guess we played 60% of the period inside the Canadiens' blue line.
Ron, as you say, the shots on goal, 6-5, they finish in favor of the Canadiens. Deceptive, though.
It's a deceptive statistic, and I think back in the 1975 game when we had that lopsided shots on goal total favor the Canadiens, who wound up in a 3-3 tie. So perhaps we're seeing a similar situation this year.
And so the score at the end of the first period, the Red Army 1, the Montreal Canadiens 0.
Add the flavor of tangy cheddar cheese to a thicker cut potato chip, and you get O'Grady's brand Au Gratin potato chips with a hearty cheese taste and a deeper cut that cradles lots of tangy cheddar flavor. So for the hearty taste of cheese and more potato, taste O'Grady's Au Gratin, the more potato chip with a hearty taste of cheese.
Boy, it isn't easy being your television set. Back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I wish my tuner'd fall off. Now, if you got TV Guide, we could plan our time together. It's a real magazine, not just a TV supplement stuck into a newspaper. TV Guide has lots of interesting articles and a big video section each week. And it's critical. It says what's hot and what's not. You can trust it. And trust is something you don't mind paying for.
Toronto, you're a world-class city, and you deserve the best in the world. Like Ford Escort, the world's best-selling car, and its stylish running mate, Mercury Lynx. Just two of the cars Jack Long relies on.
I have to have cars that won't let me down. I have 16 of them, all Ford products.
Toronto Ford makes the best-built North American cars and trucks with the highest standards of quality and service, because you deserve the very best.
Toronto, we can't be outdone. At Ford, quality is job one.
For generations, we've made Canadian families smile, and we're proud of that. It's because of a commitment to customer satisfaction our founder made in 1909, and it's still true today. Quality home furnishings from our family to yours.
There's no place like Leon's.
Make Leon's a part of your family today, and smile.
You all have had a very Merry Christmas, and on behalf of the Edmonton Oilers, we'd like to wish you and yours a very Happy New Year and all the best in 1986.
Edmonton Oilers will be watching tonight as Red Army has taken a 1-0 lead over the Montreal Canadiens here on New Year's Eve at the Forum. A rising shot by Makarov has put the Red Army in front. Bob Gainey got a standing ovation before the game tonight when he was introduced, and then he promptly won the ceremonial face-off. Good going.
That's the first one I've won this year, Brian.
Well, I hope it's not the last, and certainly you're in a position to come back now, but that was a really fast pace set by these clubs tonight.
Yes, the Russians always play a very fast pace. They change constantly, switching their players more frequent than we do in the National Hockey League, and that allows them to play at high pace that they do.
I wonder if you could look back 10 years like a lot of us have been doing here tonight and compare tonight's action with what you remember from that year.
Well, I had the opportunity in the last couple of days to watch the film of the game from 1975, so it's a little more fresh in my memory now. But I don't think our team is quite as excited as we were for the game in 1975. It was our first confrontation with them, and I know that we put a lot of work previous to the game into it. We've been so busy in our own division and in our own schedule this season that we haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it or a lot of preparation. But our team is a team that consistently plays well in the National League, and I think the players are ready to play to the best of their ability tonight.
You talk about your division. I wondered if Quebec put a little more pressure on you by winning handily over this same team a couple of nights ago, whether you feel now you've got to do or do better than they did.
Well, there's always that rivalry there, and the Russians are probably the only team we'd like to see Quebec beat. But they did play an excellent game against them, and we watched the game and took some pointers from how they played, and maybe we can use some of them in the next two periods.
What about the young players on the Canadiens? You've got a lot of rookies out there, and let's talk about Dahlin and Svoboda. What is their approach to playing the Soviets for the first time like tonight?
Well, Svoboda is a little bit more vocal than Dahlin, who hasn't said too much about the game, but Peter has a close connection with the Russians and the Czechs and his background in junior hockey, and he knows some of the players on the Russian team, and he'd like to perform well tonight against them because I'm sure they recognize him, and of course he'd like to win the game.
Let's just clear up one little thing. I read conflicting viewpoints from Bob Gainey. One said you're quite happy to play the Soviets. Another report I got was that you were a little upset that you had to play them. What is let's get the truth here.
Well, I think the truth is your first statement. I always enjoy playing against the Soviets. We're playing against one of the best teams in the world, the top 2 or 3 teams. And I always enjoy good competition, and you certainly get it when you play the Soviets. Doesn't matter where or when.
Glad you cleared that up, and now all you have to do is win a few more face-offs, score a few more goals tonight. Thank you, Captain Bob Gainey. Andy Van Helleman gives us the referee's perspective in a moment or two. You're watching the Molson Hockey Special on CTV.
There you go, Max. He loves cheese. And now he can enjoy the taste of real cheese with Kennel Ration Tender Chunks beef and cheese flavor. Look, no ordinary dry dog food cuts like meat, chews like meat, and no ordinary dry dog food has these chewy cheese-flavored chunks. Max really goes for it. Kennel Ration Tender Chunks beef and cheese flavor. For dogs who love cheese. Right, Max?
When the gods want to banish you, they answer your prayers.
A woman who wouldn't be owned.
Why is your freedom more important than mine?
It isn't. A man who couldn't be tamed.
When did you learn to fly?
Yesterday.
A world of beauty and danger that would take them to the limits. Robert Redford, Meryl Streep, in a Sidney Pollack film, Out of Africa.
Now playing at a theater near you. Consult your local listings.
New Chevy S10 Maxi Cab, new S10 Blazer, the Chevy fun machines from GM, Canada's #1 in truck sales.
Oh, they've got popularity,
price,
popularity,
drive,
popularity,
style,
popularity,
power,
popularity,
room,
popularity. They're at #1.
New Chevy S10 Maxi Cab, new S10 Blazer, showing up everywhere.
'Cause they've got popularity.
And that's the Chevy way to go.
Way to go, Chevy.
How do you improve a nasal spray? We ask the experts.
Nice thing about a spray is that it's fast. I can breathe better in seconds. You want to improve it? Make it last longer.
So we did. Long-lasting nasal mist by Dristan lasts 3 times longer than our regular spray.
Great. Once in the morning, keeps me clear all day.
Long-lasting nasal mist by Dristan lasts 3 times longer.
On behalf of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, I'd like to congratulate Molson's on the beginning of their 3rd century of business in Canada. And I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year.
After 20 minutes of play at the Forum in Montreal, Central Army leads the Canadiens 1-0. Both these teams really rely on special teams. The main aim of the Soviet attack, in fact, is always to get the man advantage. They narrow a 3-on-2 to a 2-on-1 to get that good scoring opportunity. the Canadiens have the #1 power play in the NHL, so manpower advantages are all important tonight. The man who will play a key role in that, deciding that anyway, is tonight's referee, Andy Van Hellemond. Andy, it's NHL rules. It's supposed to be just another hockey game, but it is us against them. Is there a mental thing you go through before the game? Do you try to stay as normal as possible, treat it just like another game?
Yeah, the game's too quick to think, really. You have to react. So when a foul occurs, you rule on the act or on the foul, and you don't have time to think it's us against them. And a lot of people may not think that happens, but the game is just too quick. And when something happens, up goes your arm, and you commit yourself to calling the foul, and you don't have time to turn it over in your head, because if you do, you're in trouble.
Their style is different. They have a lot of motion, and they do all that crisscrossing in the neutral zone. Do they cause you any special problems as a referee?
They backtrack a fair amount more than the NHL teams, meaning they regroup. It's almost like European soccer. If they lose control, they seem to come back and regroup and go as a unit.
So for the referee, it stops-starts.
Yeah, you seem to have a little flow to yourself, or movement, and then all of a sudden you have to turn around and let them come back to you. You should never get ahead of the play if you cannot at all help it.
Coming into these games, do you have any special instructions for your linesmen?
No, they're very fast, the Europeans on the line. They'll come up to the line at full speed and then they'll cut right down it very quick. And if you anticipate an offside, you can find yourself blowing the whistle when they really didn't go offside. So a linesman has to be very sharp with that part of his game.
How do they react? How do the Soviets react to the officials? We all know how the NHLers do. We've seen that over the years. Are they different to deal with?
No, not really. We have an interpreter in the penalty box should we have trouble, but they just pretty well stick to the game of hockey, and they're not too involved in how the game or the rules, if there's a rule broken or whatever. I always found that the teams that play the game and don't worry too much about the refereeing are the teams that are pretty successful. The ones that start worrying about, what rules, they're not only playing the game, but they're also refereeing it too, so they have trouble some nights.
Well, Andy, we'll let you get a few more minutes rest before the second period starts. Fast-paced tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andy Van Hellemond, tonight's referee. We will talk with NHL great Jean Beliveau when we come back. A New Year's Eve hockey tradition continues in a moment.
For generations, we've made Canadian families smile, and we're proud of that. It's because of a commitment to customer satisfaction our founder made in 1909, and it's still true today. Quality home furnishings from our family to yours.
There's no place like Leon's.
Make Leon's a part of your family today and smile.
Boy, it isn't easy being your television set. Back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I wish my tuner'd fall off. Now, if you got TV Guide, we could plan our time together. It's a real magazine, not just a TV supplement stuck into a newspaper. TV Guide has lots of interesting articles and a big video section each week. And it's critical. It says what's hot and what's not. You can trust it. And trust is something you don't mind paying for.
We love it. 6, 7, 11, it's a pizza. We love it. We love it. It's a pizza. 9, 6, 7, it's a pizza. 11, just around the corner. It's easy to see. There in 30 minutes, or it's yours for free. It's a pizza. Won't cost you more. It's a pizza. To bring it right to your door. We love it. We love it.
Where in the world would you go to breakfast in France? Do a little shopping in the Casbah? And have dinner in Japan? Where would you go to hula in Hawaii one night and be on Broadway the next? To go for the green and sail off into the blue? Where would you go? Florida, to be together at the world's greatest resort, Walt Disney World. Surprised?
I'm Laurie Boschman. Hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. On behalf of the Winnipeg Jets, we would like to wish you and yours a Happy New Year and all the best in 1986.
One of Canada's greatest ever hockey players never did have a chance to play against the Soviets. Jean Beliveau retired in 1971, the year before Super Series 72. And of course, he's been with the Montreal Canadiens ever since that time. Sean, do you regret never having had a chance to play against these people?
Yes, I presume it must be a great experience. I've always personally felt that the style, my style, would have been, I think, good enough to play against them. When I talk to players who have this opportunity to play the Russian, they all say that they enjoy it, even if at first we seem to have a problem. I think it's a great experience for those who are involved.
You talk about style. The styles have changed in the last 15 years. The Soviets appear to be becoming more like us, and teams like the Montreal Canadiens are playing more of a European style.
I remember making a statement maybe around 1976-77 where people was talking about the style that the Russian were using, but I thought after watching them on a few occasions that they were the one who changed. Everybody was talking that we try to copy them, but I always personally thought that they became a little bit more individual. Their play in 72 and in 74 were more than a stereotype kind of a game, where when the centerman have the puck, the wing is supposed to be at a certain spot. But hockey is a game where you have to improvise a lot, because your opponent, you don't know what they're going to do, what move they're going to use. I thought too that they didn't have much of a shot in 72, but they really improved it. There's several good shooters on that team. Mm-hmm. Though watching the game this year, I don't want to take anything away from the Canadian team, but I feel that they're certainly not as strong as they were in the late 70s or early 80s. I thought Quebec played a beautiful game the other night. Their goalie kept them, and that's what the goalie has to do, keep the team, be patient with them.
John, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Jean Béliveau of the Montreal Canadiens. Please stay with us. This New Year's Eve tradition continues in a moment.
Announcing an important step forward in auto service, the Canadian Tire Service Promise.
At Canadian Tire, we promise to fix your car right.
And it's not right until you're satisfied.
The bill you get will never be more than the estimate you approve. We guarantee our work, we guarantee our parts.
We promise to do only what's necessary.
For auto service that sets new industry standards, the right choice is Canadian Tire. Nothing unexpected, nothing unexplained. We promise.
Probably one of his famous shortcuts. You know, if you looked up Lost in a dictionary, you'd find his picture.
Look, he can handle it. He's got his four-wheel drive multi.
You sure he's coming?
I'm sure.
You sure?
I'm sure.
I'm hungry.
For four-wheel drive at the push of a button, the name is Nissan Multi.
Hey, guys, I found this great shortcut.
Like you should play more like molten gold and smooth, smooth. That's molten gold. That's smooth. Grazie.
The Montreal Canadiens returning to the ice for the second period of tonight's game as they trail the Central Red Army by a score of 1-0. The goal coming late in the period. Makarov finishing off a beautiful three-way passing play. The time of the goal was 16:20. The shots on goal favored Montreal 6-5, but certainly the territorial play, Bob Cole, through the latter part of the period in particular, favored the Soviets.
No question about it. The shots do not tell us what happened in that first period. You're looking at the Soviets taking over that center ice area again. The puck was tipped through near center ice at the blue line, and then, of course, they'll spot somebody free, and here's Makarov wide open. Doug Sotard, who had made several good glove saves in that first period, didn't have a chance to move on that one, Dick. He was just too far hugging the post, and he was in the right spot. The man was just wide open. Makarov made no mistake. And I don't like the way that second half of that first period developed. The Canadiens played pretty well, Ron. In the first 10 minutes, they did some hitting, and they shut the Russians down, the Soviets down through center ice. But then they were, I think the power play took some pizzazz away from Montreal, and they got mesmerized. Then they were running around in their own zone.
I think that the intermission, they heard quite a bit from Jean Perron, who's had a lot to do with Soviet teams. He was an assistant coach with our Olympic team, and over the years, working as an assistant under Dave King, learned how to play the Soviet clubs, and he played the Army, and he's played their national team a number of times. I would think that there are going to be some adjustments made.
Well, there's quite a history developing in the hockey between Canada and the Soviet Union. The first time a team from Canada played a Soviet team was in 1954 at the World Championships in Stockholm. It was the first appearance by the Soviets in the World Championships anywhere, I guess, Ron, as far as the rest of the world was concerned. And they beat a team called the Toronto East York Lyndhurst 7-2. Then next year in Krefeld, Germany, the Penticton V's, led by the Warwicks, Bill, Dick, and Grant, defeated the Soviets 5-0. The Canadian goalie that got the shutout was Ivan McLeod. The backup goalie on that team was Don Moog, father of Andy, who was playing against this team last Friday night in Edmonton.
Well, play is underway here in the second period. Soviets leading 1-0. Makarov in his own zone feeds it ahead. That pass for Gusarov intercepted by Carbonneau. He feeds it right back into the Soviet zone again. Gainey's behind the net. Tried to force it out in front. Carbonneau against the boards, but he is checked off the puck. Good move there by Gusarov. Makarov then unable to get loose. Backhands it into the Canadian zone. Svoboda then gets it right back out to center ice. Swinging through center ice, Tyomenev. Tyomenev to Karutov. Karutov along with Makarov on the far boards. Karutov is hooked from behind by Gainey. No penalty on the play. A little fortunate on that. Back in inside the line now. It is Gusarov. Gusarov with Nyland moving in on him. Nyland takes him off the puck, but right there to pick up the loose puck is still nope. And the Soviets come right back out. Makarov, he's a tremendous skater. Over the line with Homotov. And he feeds to the far boards. Homotov is unable to pick it up as Naslin's got it against the far boards to Svoboda. Svoboda finds Carbonneau at center ice as he catches up to it. Carbonneau battling his way is knocked to the ice as Kazatonov came back to make the check. At center ice now, Gerasimov. Homotov unable to get loose, but that's Bukov. Bukov checked from behind by Naslin. Drops to Robinson. Robinson behind his own net. Fires it off the boards. It's loose in there, and Svoboda finally takes over as Bukov tried to go to the net with the puck. Robinson. Robinson with Homotov right on top of him. Clears in front. Fired right out to the line. Naslin unable to get loose, but it's outside the blue line now. And taken by Bukov. Bukov back inside his own zone. The Soviets regrouping. Coming out of his end is Gerasimov. He's checked by Naslin. Naslin moving in with that puck. Squeezes by on the boards as Kazatonov tried to take him out. Now Naslin getting it from Dahlin. Hits the netting with it. Fetisov ahead. Gerasimov swinging inside his own zone to Fetisov. Out to Kazatonov at center ice. Kazatonov hitting Gerasimov. Drops it back right through the legs of Kazatonov. Back from the Canadians on a 3-on-2. Naslin checked as Fetisov came across and knocked it away from him. Puck is cleared behind the net. Kazatonov has got it for the Soviets. Kazatonov leaving it off Drozdetsky. Number 13 at center ice. He loves to carry the puck as he clears it in over the line. Drozdetsky going to his backhand in front of the net, and he's tied up from behind by Kerber. Comes out. Near the blue line now. It is tipped out to center ice by Skrudlin. And back with it is Starikov. Starikov to Babinov. There it is. Herbert after it against the far board. Skrudlin's got it there as well. Clears it up along the boards for McPhee to Trombley at center ice. Trombley going one-on-one against Babinov. Stopped inside the line. Now takes a shot, but he hit the leg of Starikov and is back out to center ice. Green off the board. Starikov fires it straight out of his own zone and then is cleared back in offside, and we'll get a face-off. 4:02 gone in the period. 1-0 the Soviets. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
When brewing's an art, you go for taste is right from the start, and you gotta know the best you can do is make it come true with light taste that sets it apart. Molson Light has got heart.
This one's got it.
We're checking much better.
They're looking at Gemayev, who in next year's World Hockey Championships is suspended for the first 3 games. A big brawl in the U.S. game during last year's World Hockey Championship involving both Gemayev and Fetisov. And poor Jimmy Johnson of the Pittsburgh Penguins who got leveled in all of that in a big fight. Stelnov coming out of his own zone now. Stelnov forced back by the checking of Walter. Now rink wide. On the far side it is Gusarov. A backhand pass through center ice. It's Vasiliev taking a shot. That's deflected by goaltender Doug Sotart. Now they try to bring it out in front again, and it is right at the line. Down on his knees is Sotart, and the puck was between his pads, and that gets a hand for the fans here at the Forum.
You two chaps have broadcast more of these international type games than I have. Wasn't there a time when people say, look at the Soviets, they don't resort to the big slap shot, they use the wrist shot? I've seen a few like this one here tonight.
Well, they'll use it now.
Oh.
You won't see many better slap shots anywhere than Big Rozhetsky's got. Look at this. Pretty close, Bob.
I'll tell you, that's 2 or 3 times that Sotart has saved a goal. He was allowed to walk out in front that time, and Doug Sotart went down in time, and he hung on. Still 1-0.
Robinson checked from behind as he tried to bring it through center ice. Varnakov bringing it back into Karutov. Karutov checked off the puck, and Svoboda. Svoboda at center ice. Kazatonov will knock it down. To Tiemenev, back inside the zone. Fetisov, rink wide. Makarov ahead for Tiemenev. Tiemenev gets the return pass from Karutov. Karutov can't reach that pass. It's deflected away from him by Nyland. Now Karutov in deep now. Tiemenev. Tiemenev trying to find Kazatonov out in front, and Kazatonov was checked away, and the puck winds up at center ice. They'll shoot their defensemen a lot more than they used to too. Here's Tiemenev, and he takes an elbow from Svoboda up against the board. And he got away with that one as the puck is cleared back in over the line. Back at center ice now. Carbonneau to the line. Ducks away from a check. And a check by Fetisov, and it was Fetisov who wound up with the puck. Out to Karutov. Karutov to Makarov. Makarov set. His shot is knocked away as it was deflected. Now comes in front of the net. Taken by Robinson. Robinson. He's checked by Karutov. Puck lost behind the net. Now Robinson picks it up, clears it along the boards. Moving in is Kazatonov. Kazatonov gets the puck in front of the net for Bukov, but it's taken away by Robinson. Robinson. Kerber shooting it out to center ice, knocked down by Makarov. He heads for the net. And it's Fetisov. Fans thought there were too many men on the ice. Fetisov at center ice. Fetisov trying to backhand the puck right to the Canadiens bench area where it's dug out by Naslund. He clears it back to the Soviet defense. And Starikov moving it ahead to center ice. It's cleared in over the line by Gerasimov. Now Homotov. Homotov getting it for Bukov. Bukov trying to work it out in front now, and he can't. Here's a big shot wide of the net taken by Starikov. Now they try to get it out in front of the net again. Bukov up against the boards. Again, setting up is Starikov. His shot wide of the net. Naslund chops it out to center ice, and back to get it will be Bukov. Bukov. Babinov clears it in over the line. Back in there is Lawler. Lawler circling away from the checking and bringing it to center ice now. Lawler shooting it in. After it is Bobby Smith in deep. He clears it in front of the net. Went right by Dahlin. Dahlin's got it against the board. Dahlin in deep. They try to set it up now for Dahlin. It's loose in front of the net. Smith fighting off a check. Smith goes up against the boards. The puck is pinned in there. Smith trying to dig it loose. Also in there is Dahlin, but the puck winds up on the stick of Homotov. Homotov shooting at the center ice. Gerasimov can't get past Smith. Smith comes right back again. Clears it in. Babinov back to get it. Leaves it there. And the Soviets with Rozhetsky at center ice. Shepelev giving it to the wing. There's the hard shot. That one taken by Zubin. It's loose in front. Down goes Sotard, and he covers up and holds on for the face-off. Oh, he does it. The puck popped free. Lawler behind his own net. Ludwig. Lawler again. Lawler swinging away from the check there of Rozhetsky. It's out at center ice. Checking a little close right now as the puck comes back to Tremblay. Tremblay, Ludwig, Lawler. Lawler at center ice. It's knocked down at the Soviet blue line by Stelnov. And it's fired right back into the Canadian zone. Up against the boards, McPhee, and it's pinned in there and held for a whistle. 7-11 gone here in the second period. 1-0. The Soviets are leading. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
What makes my mousse different from your mousse? It's new Germac mousse, and it lets me be wild, sexy, or sophisticated. And it helps protect and condition my hair at the same time. And because new Germac mousse is the only mousse for 3 specific hair types, you get the right balance of hold and conditioning. That makes all the difference in how my hair looks and feels. So try new Germac Professional Styling Mousse and go crazy with your hair.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens a bit mesmerized right now by the tactics of the Soviets. But one of the Soviets was mesmerized a few minutes ago by that tactic by Peter Svoboda. Pretty good elbow. And like Ron mentioned at the time, Canadians lucky perhaps that a penalty wasn't called.
So all they need now is a power play, the way the Soviets are putting it together again.
On the face-off, Robinson can't hold it in at the point. Comes out through center ice, but it's knocked away from Vasiliev and back out. Gimaev now, he's checked up against the boards. Turning with it is Vasiliev. Back inside the blue line, Gusarov. Now Gimaev, number 18, up against the boards, and he fires it in. Sotart leaving it for Svoboda. Svoboda, Robinson. Robinson ahead for Tremblay. Tremblay rink wide. Svoboda's got it there. He backhands it to the line, and back comes Gusarov. Turns, fires it through center ice now. In over the line. Here's Veselov. They shoot. They score. Veselov, number 11. And the Soviets have taken a 2-0 lead.
Canadians got caught with only Larry Robinson back. And they played it perfectly. Nobody there to clear the rebound. Robinson losing his balance. As you see it there, they cut the Canadians defenseman up front on the turn, Svoboda. And Robinson went down to try to block the shot. Bob, the rebound was just left there.
Well, again, Sotart left alone because Gimaev was in on the play. It was almost a 2-on-1, really. And Veselov was allowed to take his own rebound.
So it's 2-0. The Canadians haven't had a shot on goal in this period. They haven't come close to getting a shot on goal in this period.
Shots on goal in the period are 5-0. Cleared in over the line now. Fetisov back there with Nyland on top of him. Fetisov gets the return pass now. Varnikov at center ice for Makarov. Karutov backhanding, and he hit Nyland with it. Gainey at his own line, ducks away from Karutov's check. Gainey's got it at center ice and shoots it in. Fetisov back to get it. He fires it out to center ice now. Here's a one-on-one. Tiemonev going up against Kervers, and he forces him back. Now in for Karutov. Karutov in front, and hit the side of the net. Makarov was there. Karutov now out in front. Tiemonev, the shot. Glove save made by Sotart. Now here's Karutov turning, shooting, and it's deflected up over top of the net off Green's stick. Makarov in the corner. And it's fired off the glass and down the ice. There'll be icing here as Fetisov goes back to get it. And as he touches it, Canadians will take a breather. They're under fire here as we near the midway part of the second period. 2-0. The Soviets leading live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
I hate to lose. I've always hated to lose. So when I found out how much money I was spending on throwaway batteries, I got a Dynacharge system. You don't throw Dynacharge batteries away. You recharge them over and over again. They're guaranteed for 5 years. And they come in every size and shape.
The Dynacharge system, the only batteries you'll need for the next 5 years.
Because I hate to lose.
We have a rookie and a veteran behind the benches. Ron, a big difference in this game right here, how easily the Soviets are coming out of their own zone. The Canadians having all kinds of trouble.
And at center ice now, it is Babinov. Babinov being checked by Deblois. And turning with it is Homotov. Homotov had it checked away from him. And it's Bukov shooting it in. It is gloved by Sotart. Leaves it for Ludwig and clears it along the boards. Walter gets it to the line, but not out, and it's shot right back in again. What a checking of the Soviets intense. Back out at center ice, it comes for Starikov. Starikov ahead, and that pass was too far ahead of Homotov to reach. And back to get it is Lawler. Deblois, Walter. Center ice is checked away from him. Back they come again. Here's Bukov taking a shot. That deflects up into the crowd. We'll get another face-off.
You know, there's a saying in football, a quarterback will go back and they'll say he can't see anybody to pass it to. The Canadians are in exactly that position when they get the puck deep in their own zone. They take a look. The Soviets are just covering everybody so well. All they can do is play it up the boards or be intercepted, really. And it's the big part of this game right now, inside the Montreal blue line, how well the Soviets are handling the situation.
What the Canadians need desperately is a break here, I think. Better frame of mind. They're being beaten to the puck constantly here. Swoboda back in his own zone now. Swoboda straight ahead at center ice. It's Dahlin. Dahlin to Naslund. Knocked it out of midair. Kicks it in over the line. Trailing on the play is Bobby Smith. Dahlin gets it. Gives it to Naslund. Now Naslund to Smith. Smith getting set. Shoots it right on, but on a bad angle. Smith out in front again. It's loose there. Naslund reaching for it. He's knocked to the ice, and the puck is cleared ahead. Rozjetsky now for Shepelev over the line. Getting set in the slot, and they couldn't get it. A shot away. A clean shot by Stelnov. Back come the Canadians now. Naslund along with Dahlin and Smith. Naslund. Dahlin, and he found on it. Now here's Robinson. Robinson in front, and it's Naslund who deflected it towards the goaltender, and Malinkov covers up and holds for a face-off. It's 2-0. The Central Red Army leading the Montreal Canadiens. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
It's on now at the Brick. Make no down payment and pay no interest for 1 full year on all furniture. And make no down payment and pay no interest for 6 months on a large selection of top name brand appliances, TV, video, and stereo. Check our full color flyer and buy this contemporary oak finished 4-piece bedroom package, only $288. That's just 12 payments of $24. Guaranteed lowest prices, or we'll write you a check for the difference. It's on right now. Make no down payment and pay no interest with no minimum purchase at all Brick locations.
This is Ron Roosh along with Dick Irvin at the Montreal Forum. 2-0. The Central Red Army leading the Montreal Canadiens. And right now, as we're halfway through the game, a pleasure to turn things over to Bob Cole. Bob?
Thanks, Ron. And you've given it to me on a high note. The Canadians have come to life here at this point in the second period. And they're doing some more bumping now, and the crowd loves that. Here's McPhee for Canadians. Playing it to the left side, and it's dumped into the zone by Curvers. Soviets had to go back, and they're taking a little more punishment inside their own blue line now. That's what the Canadians have to do if they want to get back into this hockey game. They're trailing 2-0. In on the play, Fedosov. He tried to go in, and he was bumped off the puck. Strudlin for Montreal. He saw Tremblay and gave it to him. It's rolled in. McPhee cutting for the net. Slides one to the side of the goal. It bounced in front. And the Soviet Red Army can't get out of the zone on this try. McPhee is knocked to the ice. The crowd would love a penalty. But the play continues. Still 2-0 Soviet Red Army. And they're in again. Vasiliev took a shot, and that was blocked. Vasiliev again grabbed the puck to the side of the net. The Canadians scampering back, trying to cover up. It comes in the slot area. Players falling everywhere. Gemaev went to the ice, and the play came back to center ice. Veselov back in for Red Army. They were making changes. It comes back for Gainey. Gainey in there with Nyland, and the hard shot was blocked by Malinkov. Into the corner, the Soviets now bewildered a bit, wondering what has happened, because they seem as if they had taken over this hockey game, and they're coming in again. In on the wing, Makarov, and he's always dangerous. Tumanev up on the play, and taking over for Montreal is Svoboda. He left it for Robinson. Robinson's pass to the line. Carbonneau coming in for Montreal. Dropped a pass back. Gainey failed to hang on to it. Robinson fighting hard to keep it in. Canadians with the pressure on again. Malinkov went down, and he held on to it. But the Habs are back in it. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
One's got it.
Well, for the first time, that fella's under a little bit of pressure in this hockey game, a little more sustained pressure.
Rooney nearly got loose on the faceoff. The Canadians on the draw. There's Rooney knocking that high pass down. He centered it. Milenkov knocked it away with a stick. Soviets just content now to shoot it out of the zone. Ludwig played it back to the middle. And it's grabbed by Deblois, and he's dancing in there. Deblois centered it. Walter couldn't reach it in time, but he has it on the boards. A backhand shot! The big save of the game for Milenkov. To this point, he had to kick out that right skate fast to make the stop. And listen to the crowd get behind the Canadians now. They're trailing 2-0. Down on the far side. Gerasimov didn't get anywhere. Holmatov is stopped. Gerasimov again got in front of the net, but there's no pass yet. Bukov now trying to work in. He's bumped off the puck in the Canadian zone. Canadians will clear it out to the line. I went behind Walter, and the Canadians are making changes with 6:45 to play. Second period, still 2-0. Red Army. There's Dahlin. There's Naslund. Naslund now picking up some speed. He has to circle back. Gives it to Green. Green backs all the way into his own zone. He's been forechecked on the play by Zubin. Long pass. It'll go to the netminder. Just crossed the goal area, so no icing. Just hit the corner of the goal crease. Now the Soviets allowed to move out fast again. Shepelev down the right wing boards. He centered it. Dahlin had a stick in a way and made a nice play to bring it back out. There's Naslund now dumping it in. It bounced in front of the Soviet net. On the left side, Zubin starts back and he'll skate to the middle. And he's spoiled right there by Dahlin. So they'll go back and try it again. They dearly want to take over the center ice area as they move the puck away. Watch this. Through the middle again. A pass by Fedrizov to the far side. It's in over the line and the Canadians break it up. Here they come. McPhee tried to knock it in. It got a little too far ahead of him, and he couldn't make the play he wanted to. 5.5 minutes left in the period. Here's the shot that's wide as Curvers let her fly. It bounced by Green. He comes back. No icing, so Sochard out of the net. He's getting a bit of a breather now at this point in the second period. 5:20 to play in the period. 2-0 Soviet Red Army. Here come the Canadians. McPhee! Rebound! And it's knocked away. McPhee came close. He waited long enough and tried for the short side and just missed getting the Canadians' first goal. Back for Babanov. Babanov played it ahead on the wing. Krutov. This big line on the ice again. Krutov flying in there. He went to the corner. Now he's bumped in there by Svoboda. But back of the net, they dig it out, and again the Canadians rough it up in their own zone. Soviets trying to set it up from the side. It goes to Krutov. Out to the line. Another pass back to the blue line. The screen shot hit a leg. And Starikov put a weak shot in there. Now the Canadians shoot it down the ice. And it'll be icing against Montreal. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
You know, it's amazing how kids learn just by watching. But the other day, it was Bobby who taught me something about ivory. There was no soap in the shower, so Bobby brought me his ivory. Well, I tried it, and I found you just can't beat Ivory's natural kind of clean. And I use a deodorant anyway, so why do I need one in my soap? And who needs heavy perfumes? Not me. Ivory's natural kind of clean is all I need.
Get back to a natural kind of clean. Rediscover Ivory Purity. And for hands, try Liquid Ivory in a pump.
Well, Dick, they talk about things like tempo in international hockey. They talk about that in the NHL, too. And you take a look at the way the Canadians are playing now. Suddenly, they've got that elusive thing. They're coming off the bench. Their changes are crisper. The tempo, the pressure they're putting on the Soviets now didn't exist through the first 30 minutes of this game. It's a changed hockey game.
Canadians control on the draw. But Krutov grabbed the puck, gave it to Makarov, scores!
Well, there's a rookie mistake. Mike Lawler totally mesmerized by the Soviet forechecking. And what a downer that is for the Canadians and the crowd coming as it did and at the time that it did. Look at this.
Krutov in there forechecking, and there's Makarov just all alone in front. One of the best shooters in hockey anywhere in the world. A 5-time Soviet scoring champion, and he didn't make a mistake there at all. On the back end as he put it past Sotart. And it's 3-0. The Canadians had it going. but when you're trying to come from behind, things like that tend to happen.
Very bad goal against the Canadians. 2-0 to 3-0, and the way the Soviet team can control the puck, I don't know, 3 goals, but the Canadians, as you point out, Ron, did have something going. They need a goal here badly. Fetisov coming from his own zone to the far side. He'll have to take over it again and swing back with it. Kazatunov, the other defenseman, with him. And he might go back to him. No, he doesn't. He comes up to the line. Omatov didn't get far in the first rush. Gerasimov played it to the far side. It's knocked away by Dahlin. He looked pretty cool, grabbing the puck and feeding it up on the wing. Bobby Smith was hit by Fetisov, and the Soviets come back in again. Fetisov is in the slot. The pass doesn't get to him, as Homatov was taken in on the boards. Now the Canadians. Naslund to center. He'll have to shoot it in. Naslund was covered there, and Bobby Smith went in there first. Fetisov is all over him. Naslund from the corner, looking for help. Threw it in behind the net. Bobby Smith was tied up. Now he gets loose. He got away from Gerasimov and left it there. Red Army again. Meticulous with the passes. Played it back on this side. Kazatunov gets it again. Took a backhander, and that was away wide of the net. Zubin on it quickly off the board. Zubin, a pass from behind his back, and the Canadians pick it up. Deblois got as far as center, and then gave it away right there. Soviets just back up in their own zone. We have 2:40 to play in the second period. It's 3-0. Red Army leading. Canadians started the second period afire, but they've been silenced. Soviets are in there again. A high shot is wide of the net. Zubin has the rebound in the corner. He is bumped. Rozdietsky picked it up and tried to clear it back to the blue line. That was broken up. It's fired in by Babanov again. Soviets have to come back. They'll kill a few more seconds with 2:10 left in the period. And they're up 3 goals. Canadians, Walter intercepted a pass. Couldn't do much with it, though. Starnikov is back in his own zone. Winds up. Canadians were making changes as the Soviets get as far as center ice. Yamayev trying to roll it in. He is stopped by Mario Tremblay. Robinson now in front of the net. Starts up. 1:45 left. A penalty coming up on the play to the Soviets. So tired is on the bench. Carbonneau is in. A high shot is wide of the net. Canadians still in possession. Carbonneau left it there at center. Now the whistle will go. And there's a penalty coming up against Red Army. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Here we are in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia for another Anacin poll. Once again, 100 families tried Anacin for 2 months instead of their regular pain medicine. How did Anacin do in Lunenburg? After the test, when we asked, are you still using Anacin, 83 of the 100 families said yes. What is it that wins people over? Anacin works, virtually every time, so people learn they can count on it. Anacin. In Lunenburg, 83% said yes.
In our second intermission upcoming, Dick will talk with Senator Hartland Molson. We'll find more about the situation in Detroit from Harry Neal, and Dan will chat with NHL President John Ziegler.
Well, some consternation perhaps behind the bench of the Soviet Central Red Army team. Too many men on the ice is the call. Ron, you mentioned earlier in this period the crowd reacted to a situation they felt was exactly the same thing. No call was made. That time they got caught, so they will play shorthanded. I noticed Rocket Richard in the audience here tonight. The Rocket and other NHL superstars of his era never got the chance to play against European opposition.
This era, the Soviets would not have supplied any opposition.
Canadians now on a power play. They've been shut out so far. Robinson shoots it. It's picked away by Milenkov. At the blue line, Robinson keeping it in, dumped it toward the net. Soviets take over. That's Stelnov shooting it out and down the ice. Only 1 minute and 12 seconds left to play in this second period. And the Canadians on a power play. Matt Naslund dropped it back in front of his own net, and Curvers carries to center and gives it to Walter. 1 minute left in the period. Dahlin going in. He's tied up. Robinson couldn't get a shot. He fell down, and the Soviets will clear it out of the zone. Only 50 seconds to play. They run out the clock when they can. And back is Gerbers.
Chris Chelios, who normally plays the point in the Montreal power plays, is injured, not in uniform tonight. He'll be out for quite a while yet, apparently, with a knee injury.
Svoboda, 4 Soviets lined up across the blue line. Now they spread out, try to set up the box, but it's hooked over the glass into the crowd with 31 seconds to play.
Watch as we look at Peter Svoboda. You watch the Soviets and their penalty killing, how much they chase. They don't set up in the traditional box that we're used to. They'll go off after the man, especially in the other zone where, of course, there is no box, but they're not afraid to go behind the net and chase somebody, as you saw Karutov do. And it tends to upset any kind of style that you want to do, getting out of your zone. And they kind of break some rules. It's a little different on the larger ice surfaces and so on, but still, it's Canadians' power play has not really looked like the Canadians' power play we've seen through the regular season this game.
31 seconds left in the period, and the Canadians will have to come back to start it again. And they will not get much more than maybe one more rush at it with the extra man. Bobby Smith's pass nearly picked off. Naslin goes into the zone, got away from Fetisov's check, and the Soviets again shoot it down the ice. Only 10 seconds remaining in the period, so this should do it. This clearing by the Red Army. Back to center ice. There for Deblois. And there's the siren ending the second period, which started on a bright note for the Canadians, but then that third Soviet goal, and it's 3-0.
Now the Canadians came back around to even the shots at 9-9 after they were down 4-0 at one point in the period. But you have to look to that third Soviet goal as the downer, because the team was starting to get going, and the crowd certainly was behind them at that point.
I heard a statement about the worst lead in hockey being a 2-0 lead. 3-0 lead, that's a good one. That's a tough one to overcome. A very, very difficult chore facing the Canadians in the third period.
Total shots on goal through 2 periods, Montreal 15-14. But the score at the end of the second period, the Central Red Army 3, the Montreal Canadiens 0.
It's on now at the Brick. Make no down payment and pay no interest for 1 full year on all furniture. And make no down payment and pay no interest for 6 months on a large selection of top name brand appliances, TV, video, and stereo. Check our full color flyer and buy this complete 5-piece living room package. Includes wall system. Only $888. That's just 12 payments of $74. Guaranteed lowest prices, or we'll write you a check for the difference. It's on right now. Make no down payment and pay no interest with no minimum purchase at all Brick locations.
1961, and Crest announces a new era in cavity prevention.
Look, Mom!
Fewer cavities. Crest promised it first, and millions of checkups prove Crest delivered. Now more than ever, Crest keeps the promise. Say this is Fluorostat. It penetrates tooth enamel to help reverse the tooth decay process at the earliest stage, so cavities can't start.
Look, Daddy!
Great, honey. Fluorostat, a big reason why more than ever Crest keeps the promise of fewer cavities.
If 9 to 5 is getting you down and it's only 10 to 3, why not give yourself a Kit Kat? Give yourself a break. Light, crispy wafers covered in round tree milk chocolate. The perfect break in a hectic day. Give yourself a Kit Kat. Give yourself a break.
Did you hear about McDonald's new McDLT?
It could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever.
Cause the hot stays hot
and the cool stays cool.
You get a quarter pound of beef on the hot, hot side.
And the hot stays hot, baby. Crisp lettuce and tomato on the cool side. And the cool stays cool. LT.
The beef stays hot, the cool stays crisp. It's the hottest taste, the coolest dish you can't resist. It's a good time. Hot beefy McD.
For the great taste. Cool crisp LT.
McDonald's. New McD. LT.
Central Red Army looking perhaps for a shutout here tonight, leading 3-0 at the end of 2 periods of play. Second period goals by Veselev at 7:50, then Makarov is second of the night at 15:45. There's a hockey tradition here in Montreal that's unmatched anywhere in the world. Here's more on that with Dick and Senator Hartland Molson.
Okay. Go ahead. When you assumed control of the Montreal Canadiens, they had just won their second straight Stanley Cup. You didn't exactly start at the bottom of the NHL standings. Those are great days, and you must have some very fond memories of some great hockey teams.
Oh, I do indeed, and
Selke had been here for quite a while at that time, and of course Toe Blake was then coaching, and they had built up this deep organization, including the farm system, which was simply fantastic in those days. And it was a very, very interesting and it's a pleasurable experience to be involved in those days. I enjoyed it immensely. Most of the pattern that's made the team both a success and a popular part of the scene in Montreal was set by people long ago, including your father and Frank Selke, Donald Raymond, old Bill Northey, who made a great contribution, and Toe Blake for a good many years. And those standards that were set then, I think we're lucky to see many of them maintained today. But that's where they were set, I think, the pattern.
The game of hockey has been, and still is, very important to the entire country of Canada. Does this surprise you that it's carried on?
No, I think it should be that way, and it's been, apart from lacrosse, which has not been a lasting success in the sports world. I think hockey is far more important in that it has been one thing that in Canada we really have done well and can do well and can continue to do well. The fact that there are so many other nations that have hockey players developed, I don't think should change our view. I think it's an important thing to our country. I remember when I first got involved, somebody told me that the order of precedence in Quebec was the Cardinal of the Canadiens and then the Duplessis, the Prime Minister. I think it's a very important part of our lives here. So I think our association is a logical one. We've been here a long time. The Canadiens are one of the earliest teams and very much associated with the life of Quebec, and they seem to go together. Another thing was this connection from a way back when so many of the Montreal people, my father and friends of his, were the original group in hockey here. When I got into that league of 6 teams, every owner put hockey ahead of money. And I remember Jim Norris losing well over $250,000 year after year and taking it quite cheerfully. And the New York group and the Boston group and the Detroit, and of course Connie Smythe in Toronto, they all put hockey ahead of the money. And that is one of the big changes that's happened in hockey today. It's now money is, well, starting with the players, it's very different. John Beliveau on the Rocket never got a fraction of what these fellows get today.
Former Detroit coach Harry Neal is standing by. If he needed a line to introduce himself, he'd probably say, "You're going from Red Army to the Salvation Army." We'll talk to Harry in a moment. This New Year's Eve hockey tradition continues in just a moment.
Make them sharp. I want it strong. Still too much tension. From the top. 5, 6, 7, 8.
The movie, A Chorus Line.
Now playing. Consult your local listings.
I'm foreman of a ranger camp out in the bush. 2 hours after lunch and working pretty hard, your stomach's twisting and turning and starting to talk to you, and hey, you want that stomach to shut up.
Satisfies you.
I reach for it because of the peanuts. They taste great, they fill up the bar, they fill up your stomach.
Packed with fresh peanuts, peanut butter, nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. Mmm.
Satisfies you.
Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
Closes the gap between lunch and dinner, and the Snickers bar is great.
Warning. Zellers is mixing powerful savings and great Zellers merchandise, and the combination will blast everything out the door. Now, during Bargain Blast, tough Kodiak boots are just $49.97. Men's GWG and Levi jeans are $16.97, our lowest price ever. And boys' ski outfits are just $34.97. Heed our warning. Get to Zellers Bargain Blast quickly, because savings like these could go at any time.
Boy, it isn't easy being your television set. Back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I wish my tuner'd fall off. Now, if you got TV Guide, we could plan our time together. It's a real magazine, not just a TV supplement stuck into a newspaper. TV Guide has lots of interesting articles and a big video section each week. And it's critical. It says what's hot and what's not. You can trust it. And trust is something you don't mind paying for.
Hi, this is Larry Robinson. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and on behalf of all the players, management, and staff of the Montreal Canadiens, I want to wish you a Happy New Year.
Central Red Army 3, Montreal Canadiens nothing. Another period to play. Harry Neal is with us in the studio, and when we say Happy New Year to you, we really mean it, because everybody in hockey feels badly about what happened in Detroit.
Well, 85 is moving along at a nice pace, Brian, and I'm looking forward to 86.
How do you feel inwardly about what happened, though?
Well, I guess most men and all hockey players know when I say it's like a good swift kick in the groin. You know you're going to get better, but it hurts.
Were you surprised at Brad Park's appointment taking over? That's quite a responsibility for a fellow who has virtually not much experience at the job.
Well, I was in a way, although that seems to be the trend, Brian. You know, there's 3 or 4 teams that have hired players, coaches right out of the playing ranks.
Take
and,
Sather and take Bob
yeah.
Clark and take Sir Savard and a few others, yes.
So, but Park's been a great hockey player and always played like he fully understood the game, and his problem, I suppose, will be, can he convey all those good ideas to the Detroit Red Wings?
I was surprised at something I read that said, you said after all the mistakes your team made, they should be shot at dawn. That's almost reminiscent of Orville Tessier and the heart transplants. Did you really say that about your guys?
I'm afraid I did. That was after one of those blowouts that we became famous for, and had I been able to find a gun at the time I said it, I would have arranged the meeting. But I hope Detroit does well. It's a great franchise. And Mr. and Mrs. Illich are great owners, and their fans are unbelievable, and I only feel badly that I wasn't there coaching when we had the kind of team that we all would have liked.
You've always found your sense of humor at the darkest times. Have you had any little quips or anything that come to mind since you were dismissed over there?
Well, it's been tough to find it, but you know, when you love the game and you like your job, and then all of a sudden it's yanked away from you, it's a little difficult to come up with a line that gives you much comic relief, but I'll think of a few. I'm standing now. Yesterday I was kneeling, and tomorrow I'll be laughing.
Okay, well, we'll be around to listen to them too, Harry. Thanks for joining us. Good luck in '86.
Thank you.
John Ziegler, NHL president, is standing by to talk with Dan Matheson. You're watching a Molson Hockey Special on CTV.
Puppies will eat anything, but anything isn't what they need. Your puppy needs the extra nutrition he can get from a special food like Purina Puppy Chow. Only Puppy Chow has a special milk product coating and ounce for ounce more protein than the leading big dog foods, plus extra vitamins and minerals to help little puppies grow into big puppies. Puppy Chow for a full year till he's full grown.
Now a new beef flavor, too.
13-letter word for profits.
Time on your hands, grouper?
Finished a little early, Chief.
Processed the Alberta orders?
Done.
Qualified the Manitoba leads?
Done.
Made that big Halifax sale?
All done, thanks to telemarketing, the best of technology.
With the warmth of personal contact. So, the word for profit is?
Telemarketing, of course.
Grouper, take the rest of the day off.
Thanks, Chief.
Telemarketing. Today's way to operate.
We are entering a new era of energy. Now energy has been harnessed like never before. The new Energizer, putting more energy in the palm of your hand.
Where is he? Where is he?
Sorry, Mr. Kraft. I want a word with you. See these slices? They're cheaper than yours. Start talking, mister, and you better make it good.
I always do make it good with my own Kraft cheddar.
Your own Kraft cheddar? And that makes some kind of difference?
Well, what do you think?
I think I think you get what you pay for.
Kraft processed cheese food slices, the only slices made with Mr. Kraft's cheddar.
Hi, I'm Lanny McDonald. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. On behalf of the Calgary Flames and their families, we would like to wish you and yours a very Happy New Year and all the best in 1986.
Before tonight's hockey game, Montreal's Bobby Smith told us that Red Army has a good hockey team, but they want to prove that this team is not good enough to play in the Adams division. Well, the Canadians only have 20 minutes to change all that. You know, you can't have an international series with the National Hockey League in any way, shape, or form without the express written permission of the National Hockey League. President John Ziegler joins us now, and maybe, John, you can tell us, what is the NHL's interest in these international series?
Well, we've had an interest going back to our first formal collective bargaining agreement when something which was historic in sports. We entered into a partnership with our Players Association, and these games, a matter of fact, all international competition which the National Hockey League's involved and the players, the proceeds and profits go to the Players' Pension Fund. And I think that's unique in sports, and I think it's brought us some outstanding hockey over the years.
Well, in the 70s, we had some stormy scenes on the ice. We also had some stormy scenes off the ice. Are things going much easier now? Is it easier to deal with not only Alan Eagleson, the Players Association, but the Soviets as well?
Well, it's never easy to deal with Alan Eagleson, but with Al as a partner in dealing with the Soviets, it makes it much easier. Matter of fact, I remember the first agreement we had with the Soviets. It took, I don't know how many months, and must have been about 30 pages long. We now make the agreement on these games almost shaking hands and orally and confirm with Twixes later. So they've come to trust us, and we've come to trust them. And so far, the performance on both sides, I think, is one that we're all proud of.
You know, we all know how presumptuous it is of baseball to have two teams from Missouri play what they call a World Series. You know what the question is. A lot of fans would like to see a World Series of hockey. The club championship teams from the Soviet Union meeting Stanley Cup winners. Is it that far-fetched?
Well, I think the Soviets are now capable of doing that from their own schedules. We've discussed that with them. The problem is the economics just don't make sense for us, because unless we were willing to play well into June, it would be very difficult for us to replace the kind of dollars that it would take by cutting back on games. We're going to continue to look, but so far we haven't quite found the right formula.
Well, John, thank you very much for guesting with us, and Happy New Year to you.
Well, Happy New Year to you, Dan, and to all the National Hockey League fans out there. All our best for '86.
Almost 86, 3-0. Soviets now lead the Montreal Canadiens with only 20 minutes yet to play. Stay with us. Our New Year's Eve hockey tradition continues in a moment.
If you want me, baby, to budge, then just nudge me with the fudge. I've got moves like you've never seen. Give me a fudge bar, see what I mean?
Smooth, creamy chocolate fudge dipped in Cadbury milk chocolate. For 30 cents, you're gonna flip over it.
So if you want me, baby, to budge, then just nudge, nudge, nudge me with the fudge.
New from Cadbury.
Here's all that goes into Golden Light Mazzola. 100% pure corn oil. Pure, clear, no additives, no preservatives. Bringing its delicate golden touch to fresh vegetables. Crispy, light-tasting fried foods. All the good things on your table. Golden Light Mazzola. 100% pure corn oil. To give your good food the golden touch.
There's something that's been happening everywhere around. You can see the way it feels, you can feel the way it sounds. There's an easy kind of rhythm going with the flow. Driving without being done, knowing when to stop and go. It's a new attitude. It's a new attitude. It's a new attitude. Easy going cruise, it's a whole new attitude.
Hi, Harry, buy 15,000 silver.
19 gold.
27 oil. 35 gold. Harry! I've got to buy Lotterio.
Popular choice. Ontario's favorite lottery.
It's a great buy.
Over 100,000 winners every week. And all cash prizes.
And the jackpot keeps going up.
That's why I never forget to buy.
Oh, really? Who was that?
I don't know.
Here at the Montreal Forum on this New Year's Eve '85, the Central Red Army has a 3-0 lead on the Montreal Canadiens with 1 period left to play. In the second period, Vasiliev with Makarov with his second of the game. That one dampening the Canadian spirits. Montreal was in trouble, it seemed, but came back toward the midway mark of the second period, and the fans had come to life, but the Soviets' third goal made it 3-0, and it's a big difference. This, Ron, is the second goal.
And this one is Veselov. It took his own rebound and just popped it in after Sotard went down on a 2-on-1 break. That made it 2-0 at 7:50. And then the giveaway deep inside the zone. Krutov, number 9, in checking on Lawler. And the puck just winds up on the stick of one of the best shooters in the game, Sergei Makarov. And he put it in, his third goal of the tour and his second goal of the game. So it's 3-0 now as we go into the third period.
And 27 seconds left in the penalty to the Soviet Red Army. Vasiliev is in the penalty box. The Canadians unable to score so far. Move it up to the Soviet zone as Bobby Smith goes in there. Smith trying to roll it back to the line. It's knocked down to the Canadian zone. And Robinson is back, being watched by Gerasimov. Canadians move it up though. Darlene couldn't catch up to it, and there you see the Soviet player back on the ice. The penalty is over. 3-0. Red Army leading the Canadians. Montreal moving up. Right wing pass knocked into the zone by Naslin. Picking it up, Makarov. It's rolled in front of the net. Krutov left it there, out through center. Vasiliev moving up. Vasiliev trying to do it himself, is in the corner against Big Robinson. Robinson fighting for it. Hooked it with a skate. It's still loose. The play continues, and Bobby Smith. He saw Svoboda. His pass is knocked down at the line. Naslin picked it up and was slow moving. Svoboda turning around with it. Left it for Larry Robinson. Back to Svoboda coming in. And Gainey was offside, and it's called.
I'm afraid I have to add a sad note to our broadcast this evening with word from the United States of the death of Mr. Bruce Norris, longtime owner of the Detroit Red Wings, who passed away today. In our interview with Senator Hartland Molson in the second intermission, he mentioned the Norris family as among the pioneers of the game in the modern era. So Bruce Norris, longtime owner of the Detroit Red Wings, passed away today.
Bukov got the draw for Red Army and fired it up across the Canadian line. Soviets still leading 3-0. We're in the third period, a minute and a half gone. And they're on the attack again. That's Krutov. Moving around with it, played it back. Gusarov put a shot in, and Sotart made the save. It's cleared up along the boards and over the boards at the Soviet bench, and the play is stopped again.
Well, the man behind all of this in many ways, Alan Eagleson, looking on tonight. Come on, guys, he says. I can remember Alan in that 75 game run when Steve Shutt scored a goal. He came down from that same position and grabbed Shutty around the collar and hugged him. The emotion was there. I'll tell you another night there was emotion in this building, a Soviet game, when the junior Canadians played them. In 1965, Jacques Plante was retired then, came out of retirement, played goal, and was terrific. And the Canadians won the game by a goal. I think Scotty Bowman coached the juniors then.
That's Lawler's pass, grabbed near center by Ryan Walter. Rooney is on the ice for the Canadians, along with Deblois. The Soviets carrying it. Ryan Walter took his man in on the boards rather heavily. But they carry on. Shepelev going in there, stopping in the corner. Shepelev gets it back near the line. It's centered in front. Sotard had to be careful on the short side. He made the save, and again it's into the crowd. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
GM's Winter Break. 8.9% financing on a new Pontiac Sunbird. Terms up to 48 months to qualified buyers. Or get a $500 fuel efficiency bonus direct from the factory on a Pontiac 6000 with a 2.5-liter electronically fuel-injected engine. Other special winter breaks on selected small cars and light-duty pickups. See your Pontiac Buick GMC dealer for details today.
The Soviets with Shepelev, Zubin, and Grozdzietzky. He's number 13, a player with a big shot there to the right on the rim of the circle. Canadians winning the draw, but losing possession very quickly and getting it back again. Deblois skates to center. Just shovels it into the zone for Darlene. Going in against Babinov. Around the net, Starikov. He is stopped on the boards as the Canadians kept that forechecking going again. Rooney bumping in there with Babinov. Now on the right side, Grosdietsky got it up to center ice. He made a move at the center ice red line and set up the defenseman Babinov going in along the boards. An easy save. The rebound is set up, and the Canadians are slow in clearing it out of the zone. Grosdietsky got it back. Babinov left it to the side of the net. Soviets on the attack again, looking to spring a man open. They can't find one this time. It's off his stick and back to the Red Army line. Pass ahead. That's Gemayev trying to go in. Takes his shot. Scores! Went through the legs of Sotard. A hard shot, but Sotard was fooled and it dribbled over the line.
Well, the utility man strikes here, Dick, as Gemayev just kind of circled around and then just blasted it as he came off the boards with it. And it appeared Sotard had it covered, and it dribbled between his pads and over the goal line, and it's 4-0 now. And Soviet Union teams have outscored the Canadians 9-0 over the last 2 games here. The Soviet national team was the last team in here, but Eric Gemayev, who is a forward sometimes, a defenseman other times.
So the Canadians now trailing by 4, and they've yet to play up to 4 minutes in the third period. They're back in there. Veselov set it up. Once again it's centered. Sotard is out of the net, scrambling to get back in. And Fedusov nearly found the opening, but back for Tremblay. He's going in on Kasatonov. Got it back in front of the net, and Fedusov got back there. Tremblay trying to knock it loose. McPhee was in there. Couldn't get near the puck, though. Now they've hit the 4-minute mark of the third period, and it's 4-0. Red Army are in on the attack again. Circling up the line was Vasiliev, and they're offside. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
If you want me, baby, to budge, then just nudge me. With the fudge, I've got moves like you've never seen. Give me a fudge bar, see what I mean?
Smooth, creamy chocolate fudge dipped in Cadbury milk chocolate. For 30 cents, you're gonna flip over it.
So if you want me, baby, to budge, then just nudge, nudge, nudge me with the fudge.
New from Cadbury.
Lukov, number 19, on this face-off. To the right is Guzarov, the defenseman. He has moved up on the side. Canadians, though, win the draw. And Bobby Smith with Naslund up on the play, dumped it in. Milenkov, not too busy a goaltender so far in this third period. Actually in the game, but he's hardly had anything to do except watch the puck like this in back of the net. The Canadians have been unable to get anything going inside the blue line at all. They're checked very well. Coming out of the zone, Gerasimov played off on the left side. Bukov going to the corner, centered it. A good save by Sotard on that quick shot to the man in the slot. It was set up perfectly. Gerasimov played it through the middle again. Naslund stopped that one. Naslund is covered by Gerasimov. He has to go back. Smith got to the line. Canadians go in there. Darlene breaks for the net. Oh, nice save by Milenkov as Darlene. Very accurate with his shooting. He went for the low right-hand corner. Bukov up there. He tries his shot. Score! You can almost tell he was going to wait and then let her go. And Sotard looked very, very shaky.
Well, a night that started on a high note with the Canadians receiving a standing ovation now has the fans on their backs as it's 5-0.
Well, Bukov appeared to catch Sotard. He dropped his shoulder on this, Dick, and as he did, I think he got Sotard going the other way. You see that? And then Sotard leaning to his right. Suddenly it was going to his left. He reached with his glove, and it was too late.
Robinson was caught up the ice. I thought Svoboda played it pretty well.
Winds up in the net just under the glove on the far side.
Well, I guess the pep talk worked. Yesterday, the Soviets didn't practice. Instead, they were subjected to an hour and 15 minutes of a pep talk from their coaching staff.
The Babanov, the coach, reminded this young Soviet team of the great names in the past, Petrov, Harlamov, Yakushev, and told them that they can be every bit as good as those stars of the past. That was after losing in Quebec City, and you're right, it has worked.
Well, they're playing an excellent hockey game against the Canadiens, and it's typical of them. They have a total of 5 goals here on 19 shots.
And they're picking this one off, and Sotard up big with that save. He fell, the puck is still loose. It's 5-0, Red Army, and they're on the attack again. No mercy at all shown. Babanov, he rolled it ahead. Into the corner, Makarov got it back. Humanev held it there for a moment. Now back in the corner again, and big Larry Robinson finally grabs the puck. A nice play to the blue line. Carbonneau is on the move. Canadian fans want a goal. Nyland is in there, got away from the check. He was hit harshly by Babanov. The big fellow didn't really hit him the way he wanted to. Now Nyland goes in and upends him. Now Nyland is chasing him again. Another belting behind the net against Sergei Babanov. And there are going to be penalties as Nyland is there pushing and shoving with Babanov.
Nyland might get 2 and Babanov 1.
From the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
Look what just popped up. The new Sony Handycam. A video camera recorder so tiny, it fits in one hand. To capture every move and hear every sound. Just point and shoot and catch all the fun. The new Sony Handycam. Where will it pop up next?
We have 2 players in the penalty box right now, but Chris Nyland draws the extra 2 minutes, Ron.
And deservedly so. A little bit of stick work going on. First, they got the glove, then a little of this. Now Babanov is going to lose his temper, and this is the result of all of that. So the extra 2 minutes, I think, to Nyland. Lost his temper in the corner. They're not going to intimidate the Soviets. Sergei Babanov.
He's the oldest player on the team, Babanov, at 30, but no longer a member of the national team.
No longer. He played with them up until about 1980. I think he was part of the Olympic team in Lake Placid, and that was his swan song.
Tikhonov quoted widely to the effect that the hockey system in the Soviet Union is in a down period right now. Not as productive as it has been. You couldn't prove it by the Canadiens. They may have other thoughts about that. And the Oilers.
Homotov and also Tiumenev are pretty good young players coming up.
It's 5-0, and the Soviets go into the zone. They'll pass it around and spring someone loose in the slot. Gerasimov forced back to the net. Carbonneau got a chance to clear it and couldn't. Fetisov waits there, rolls it to the other defenseman. Kasatonov, he got it back in front of the Canadiens, dump it out and down the ice. Minute and a half left of the Canadiens penalty. Kasatonov is number 6, and here he comes. Takes his time hitting the line, dropping it back, and here's where the speed will bring it up. Homotov went in there with it, stops, looks around, draws a man to him. The Canadiens, though, persist. They keep the box set up. Now it's centered again, right in front of the net. Homotov rolled it to the corner. He was in behind the net, couldn't roll it out front. At the line, Fetisov. He nearly lost it there. Hanging on to it, though, to make a play. Bukov waits, threw it back to the net, got it back again. Bukov turning around, and the net apparently is off its moorings, the Canadian goal, and the referee Andy Van Helleman called the play.
You know, these series evoke a lot of emotion, as we have mentioned, if the occasion demands. And that 75-76 series over that New Year's period, there was another Soviet team playing NHL teams, the Wings. They played a Sunday afternoon game in Buffalo that was seen nationally on CTV. Buffalo won at 12-6. The next night, Buffalo played here against Canadiens, and when they came on the ice, you were here with me, Ron, they got a standing ovation from the crowd at the Forum. And that's a first, maybe a last.
Soviets power play, 45 seconds left on it. They're leading 5-0. Passing it to the blue line. It's cleared over on this side by Stelnov. They don't get a shot, though, with Carbonneau and Gainey out there trying to kill this penalty. Canadians are trapped. 3 of them come in. The Soviets whip it around. Makarov tried to set it up. Tumanev to Makarov again, back to the line. Gusarov doesn't shoot it on the first try. He faked the shot and got Gainey down on his knees. It's played into the left side. He scored!
6-0. Tic-tac-toe.
And Makarov has a hat trick.
And the fans here respond now to the Soviets, and this is a pretty nice gesture. Listen to this.
Yeah. Really, what are you going to do? Yeah, they just moved it around. Watch this now. Watch Makarov, who's off to the side of the net now. They'll move it right in front. Bukov. There it is. Open side. It's almost a carbon copy of the first of the Makarov goals. But they just move it on the far boards. That is Stelnov. Just tapped it over. That's nothing that Sotard can do, and that's a hat trick for Makarov. That is 4th goal of the tour.
27 years of age, as Ron mentioned. He's been the scoring leader in the Soviets Hockey Elite League 5 of the last 6 years. He was their outstanding player this recently completed season. Scored 6 goals in the Canada Cup in '84.
He's something coming through the system of the Soviets. He started out in Siberia, and we're going to get a goaltending change here as Patrick Roy is coming out. He started with Praktor Chelyabinsk, that's out in Siberia, then moved into Spartak, and then joined the Army, and that's the reason he's playing with the Central Army now. Or did his Army duty.
This game is being seen in the Soviet Union. The announcers aren't here. They're calling it off at the television monitors back there. We're also being seen coast to coast in the United States by the facilities of ESPN. We can't welcome the Soviet viewers as they're not listening to us. The Americans are.
And the Soviets have rung up 6. And here they come again. Was in the net for the Canadians. He is scheduled to go tomorrow, and I guess he will, against the Maple Leafs as the Canadians go into Toronto tomorrow night. The New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
Ah, the humble peanut. What hath man wrought from your pure, smooth heart?
Peanut butter.
Ah, but none so special as squirrel, extra smooth. As smooth as the peels of Pavarotti.
Does he play baseball?
Creamy as a cantata from Calais.
Is he a catcher?
Squirrel extra smooth is the smoothest, creamiest peanut butter I've ever tasted.
How do I know it's the smoothest?
Because it's the one with the peanut on top.
Oh.
Squirrel extra smooth, the smoothest and creamiest.
The official scoring on that goal, Dick, a power play goal. Makarov from Tiamonev and Karutov at 8:03. 6-0.
And the Soviets in complete control now of this hockey game. Shutting out the Canadians up to this point. Scoring 6 times themselves. Canadians win with Bobby Smith. Smith into the corner. Babanov chased him. Here's a shot to score! Naslund. And the fans get something to talk about this New Year's Eve.
Yeah, Bobby Smith with that size got to that puck quickly in the corner and then just cleared it out in front. That's picked the lower corner, Dick.
Interesting reaction to a goal that makes it 6-1. But I think the fans, and you could tell from their applause of the Soviet goal, the last one, that they realize what this situation is. This is just a great hockey team playing a team that is on the rise, but certainly isn't in the great category yet.
Beautiful shot by Naslund. Canadians needed that one at about the 12-minute mark of the second period. Back then it was 2-0 and the Habs were coming on, but the Soviets took over. Veselov going in there now. Vasilyev, 23 on the right side, is tied up. Gemayev into the corner. He beats his man and centered it. And there's another chance. Played back to the line. Kazatonov threw it into the corner. It's centered. Waugh being very careful, knocking it away with the stick. Now the Soviets continue their forechecking. Veselov was stopped, and the Canadians come out. It's 6-1 now. By the Canadians' goal seconds ago by Max Naslund. And loose play inside the Canadian blue line goal. Now Kerber will try to move it out. Herbers takes a look. Gets to the Green. Green to center. Played it up on the right wing. Canadians are in across the line. Soviets trying to cover up. Shot is fired wide. We're at the halfway mark of the third period. Gerasimov didn't get very far on the first try. Now grabbed by Bukov near center. Back on this right side. Omitov going in. Set it up. Gerasimov swings around with it. Throw it to an open man, but he's on too bad an angle and cannot shoot from there. It's centered. Gerasimov is stopped by Waugh. And Lawler nearly gave one away there. But he caught his man in time. Helped prevent him from getting a good shot at the Canadiens' net. Canadiens dumping into the line. Tremblay trying to move up with it. Going in on Fedizov. He faked him. And moved around and then threw it off to the corner. McPhee in there. He is bumped by Big Fedizov. He comes up with a puck though. Canadian center Robinson couldn't get a good shot. It's to the side of the net and Bobby Smith now. More pressure by the Canadiens. Lawler at the line. He backhands one in. It's knocked high in the air. And Melenkov covered up. Omitov just threw it out of the zone down the ice. It's wide of the Canadiens' net. And icing will be called against the Soviet Red Army. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
To myself, sweet nothing.
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop ya cold.
Now there is Mats Neslin, who put the Canadiens on the board. 6-1 the score. Became close again. Look out.
Robinson's shot, a hard one, is knocked away by Milenkov. Canadiens can't keep it in. Butov nearly got going. Now Gainey in there with Nyland. Red Army coming up with the puck and clearing it out. Makarov was stopped at the Canadiens' blue line. 3 players fighting for possession. And the Canadiens, Svoboda comes out with it. Gives it to Robinson. He threw it through the middle. The pass too high for Charbonneau. And it's offside anyway with 8:18 left in the third period.
Well, they will have the Molson 3-star selection at the end of the game tonight. Makarov with his 3 goals, but I don't know, Ron, they couldn't or wouldn't give us any information on Sergei Melenkov, who's the goaltender here tonight. He's no slouch.
Not too bad, although I thought he had his weaknesses in the Quebec game. He certainly hasn't shown any here, but again, he hasn't had to deal with too much sustained pressure. The defense in front of him has been playing very well. I'll tell you something, Dick. I think the best Canadian out there, very interesting, is Mike McPhee. He's played very well, and he's been very, very tough, especially forechecking.
Well, he's on a roll. He's coming off his first NHL hat trick, scored in the Canadiens' last game here Saturday night.
Rozdietsky, Shepelev, and Zubin. The line out there for Red Army. Canadiens, Naslin with Bobby Smith and Dahlin. 6-1, Red Army. Canadiens in possession of Smith at the line. He has to stop there. Nobody could move up on the play. And Red Army clearing it out as Shepelev coming down. He has Zubin up on the play, going in. Wow, stayed with him all the way. And he had to move in too far and couldn't get a shot. Canadiens trying to clear out of the zone along the boards. Naslin to stop. Bobby Smith, however, gives it to Robinson. Robinson to Naslin moving in there quickly. He dropped it back. Naslin again. Naslin in back of the net, centered it. And it's grabbed by Starikov. Starikov to the other side. Babinov for Red Army off the boards with it to center ice. It goes down the ice by Zubin. Svoboda tried to move away from the forechecking. Vasilyev was in there watching him. Robinson turns, got it as far as the line. Ryan Walter got a pass on the right wing. Naslin was going to the players' bench. The Canadiens change. Back for Vasilyev. Through the middle is Fetisov. He is stopped and he'll go back with it. Rolling it back to Kazatonov. He got it ahead on the right side. Vasilyev couldn't get very far at the Canadian blue line. And they'll just continue swinging back, trying to spring open the center ice area. The Canadiens are in now. Rolled out over the line. Nearly a 2-on-1 setup as Curvers had to hurry to stop it. A New Year's hockey tradition continues from Montreal.
Chevy Celebrity Eurosport looks so good, the only way you know it's a family car is that it's got what families value. Room, price, and an added plus like no extra cost air available. That's the Chevy way to go!
Way to go, Chevy!
Well, there's a fan who looks as though he's suffering with the Montreal Canadiens. That's Tony Esposito, who had more than his share of contact with the Soviets, especially in the 72 series when he and Ken Dryden shared the goaltending responsibilities for Team Canada.
Canadiens trailing by 5 goals. It's centered again, but it got by everybody in the crease area and came out to Gerasimov. He rolled it up ahead to Bukov, dropping it back. Bukov again went after it. In the corner, he had it knocked away by Curvers. And the Canadiens just dump it out. They have 6 minutes to play in this hockey game. Canadiens trailing by 5. Red Army on the move again. It's cleared into the zone. Waugh, who replaced Doug Sotard here in this 3rd period. Moved it off to the side, and the Canadiens go up with it. In across the line, Strudlin. He had it hammered off his stick, and Green has to wait for the Canadiens to come back on side. Curvers, a rink-wide pass. Canadiens nearly got caught changing over there with too many players on the ice. Gainey rolled it in. Nyland, Carbonell! By Milenkov and Carbonell. He guessed and he made the right move, and it came up. A great save by the Soviet goaltender. And they go in again. Gerasimov turning around on the board. Stick handles out in front. He left it. There's his shot by Shepelev, which is wide, and it goes into the crowd. That's not a bad save by Milenkov.
Ron, it's a familiar story in this building when these teams meet. Good goaltending. As we take a look at the stop he makes of Carbonell, where is Tretiak? He's going to become a coach, is he not?
He's going to coach the next great goaltender, they say, in the Soviet Union is going to be a kid named Beloshakin. He's from Sakhalin Island, familiar, of course, to people who followed that crash of the Korean Airlines thing. But he's from there. He's playing with a junior team now in Hamilton, Ontario, and Tretiak is working very closely with him. As for Tretiak himself, he's very much involved with the Soviet Olympic program now, and not just hockey, the overall Olympic situation. So he's been given a very good position in the Soviet Union.
Canadiens getting a goal from Naslund here in the 3rd period to save some face, but they're trailing 6-1 with less than 5 minutes to play. In this 3rd period, Svoboda going in, takes his shot. Off the pad of Milenkov, rolled into the corner. Canadiens in after it, but Krutov is going to clear it out to Makarov at center. Makarov trying to split the defense. He's sent flying. The play continues, and the Canadiens move back. 3 of them going on the play. Carbonell along the boards, tried to center it, and it hopped off his stick and went in behind Chris Nyland. Back out to center, Makarov whipped the pass in. Babinov played it on the boards for Krutov. Krutov in the corner. Gave it to the defenseman Babinov, who's in deep on the play. He flipped it along the boards, and Svoboda is back. Soft pass ahead. Canadiens, Bob Gainey comes to center. Gainey's right wing pass. Nyland didn't get a good shot on the net. Now Robinson, he centered it. This will be a 2-on-1 for the Soviets. Makarov got rid of it. Coming in, Veselov off the outside of the goal post. On that brilliant 2-on-1. They're still in there. It's centered. And Fedizov was nearly set up for a shot at young Waugh. Canadiens with 3:35 to play in the 3rd period. Trailing by 5 goals for this Central Red Army team. It's picked off at the Soviet line. Smith centered it. Naslund, the goal scorer for the Canadiens, in there again. Naslund turning around in the corner. He got away from Fedizov and centered it. Lawler has to move up the shot. Deflected and wide. Naslund again centered it. Bobby Smith to the line. Canadians try to keep it in. Ludwig hooked it off to the corner. They're still on top of the puck. Now it'll be cleared. Gerasimov to the line. Not out. Naslund right in. And he was stopped by Milinkov, and a penalty coming up to Central Red Army. Live from the Forum, Central Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens.
On behalf of everyone at Canadian Tire, we bring you this special holiday greeting. Ready, Ebenezer? You can do it. Mary. Ebenezer, you promised. Mary. Come on.
Merry Christmas.
What?
Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Now, didn't that make you feel good?
Well, maybe.
Well, hooking the call on Alexei Kasatonov, Ron, a Soviet defenseman who a couple of years ago was drafted by the New Jersey Devils.
Well, if they could ever get him, he's got so much overshadowed by Fetisov, but a very, very good defenseman. They work as a pair, of course, through years of world and Olympic competition.
Gusarov, the defenseman, fired it all the way down the ice. Waugh out of the net, stopping it, decides to feed it ahead to Robinson. Forechecking Robinson on the play. Gerasimov, but the Canadians get the center. Dahlin tipped it into the zone. Back quickly is Gusarov, tried to play it out and couldn't. It's centered to Bobby Smith. He lost it, and the Soviets shoot it down the ice again. Waugh out of the net. Minute and a half left in the Central Red Army penalty and 2:20 left in the third period. 6-1 is the score. Red Army in front of the Canadiens. Naslund has scored the only goal for Montreal here in the third period. And now Robinson goes in, dropping it to Dahlin. He's checked right away, and the Soviets move very swiftly. And it's down the ice again. 2 minutes to play. And a minute left on the power play, but the Canadiens unable to do very much about it. Omatov going in. He gave it to Makarov in the corner. He's in back to the net. Look out, he centers it. Waugh, though, with a skate against the post. He held it there.
Patrick Roy, 20 years of age, who, as Bob said, wasn't supposed to play tonight, but has taken over here in this third period from Dutch Sotard. Ron, I think you hit it properly when you said the Soviet system, and in this case their penalty killing system, is just such that it upsets teams that are used to our system of penalty killing.
Well, every time you talk with a rookie, Dick, you always, it comes up, I said, well, what's the difference between junior or college or whatever and the NHL? It's the speed with which things are done. Well, a person like Mike Lawler may be finding speed in the NHL a step up, but he's finding that there's a step up from that. And he's seeing it with the Soviet team here. There's not a bad skater on the team, and they're constantly at you.
And yet we have to remember that these teams don't see these teams. It's a different
thing, too.
Svoboda lost possession of the puck at the Soviet line. Krutov nearly went in there himself. Ryan Walters pass to the right side. Deblois swinging in there. Stopping shooting. And that went off the glove of Milinkov. A minute 20 left in the third period. The Soviets have won another game. Here's a shot. That's knocked away by Milinkov. Canadians keep it in. Naslund, the only man to beat them tonight, tipped it in for Walter. He got a stick on it, but the puck went wide of the net. And now coming down to 1 minute remaining in the third period of this New Year's Eve hockey game in Montreal. Red Army now at full strength, and they're leading the Canadians 6-1. Canadians back to center. Chris Nyland got to the line, left it for Carbonneau, centered it. Deblois stopped. And it's cleared out of the zone. Back in for Babinov. He waits, threw a pass along the blue line. Makarov decides to run out the clock if he can, and he brings it back. This will rub it in a bit. Kasatonov fired it outside the line. The Canadians trapped was Carbonneau inside, and Gainey had to wait. 20 seconds to play. 6-1 the score. Soviets in control, on top of the puck every inch of the way. Coming in Gamayev. He played it to the right side. Vasilyev in around the net. Coming out front. Here's the shot. A shot whistled wide by Fetisov. Wide. and it's cleared down the ice. The siren goes. This game is over, and Central Red Army has defeated the Canadiens in convincing fashion, 6-1.
Well, there's our look without the mask at Sergei Milenkov as his teammates gather around and congratulate him. Shots on goal favored the Canadiens, believe it or not, 24-22 overall. And we have the Molson three-star selection upcoming. So they're about to announce the 3 stars here at the Montreal Forum.
Sergei Makarov. That's no surprise. Brilliant display by Makarov tonight.
A deuxième étoile, the second star, Andrei Kamyutov. Et la troisième étoile, the third star, Vladimir Krutov.
So, Ron, no surprise, 3 Soviets named.
Not at all. You know, if you're looking at a member of the Canadiens, as I said earlier, Mike McPhee might be the one you would look at as the one that was outstanding. In a game like this, it was, I think, a McPhee who was the one that was banging and bumping and doing the job in the corners. That's what the only place they could catch the Soviets on a night like this.
So a learning experience. Glenn Sather said the other night in Edmonton after that particular game, well, if we don't play good hockey players, we won't get better. And I guess the Canadiens have to look at it in that way. Chris Dylan smiling with Babinov, the man that he had to hassle with some high sticks and sour looks exchanged. All of that forgotten in the traditional international type exhibition handshake routine.
A big Batiste out there, number 2, who played an excellent game back on the blue line. Some people like to compare him with Bobby Orr. I like to compare him more with Doug Harvey. He has great moves, especially under pressure. They get a big hand as they come off the ice.
Well, that was from the salute, and this was the custom with the Soviet players, and the fans are standing, applauding them. They all stand out there, Ron, at center ice and salute the crowd on both sides of the forum.
Well, there were some moments of sourness on the part of the fans, but all in all, the atmosphere seems to be fairly festive on this New Year's Eve, and the Soviets received a nice salute from the Montreal fans. Larry Robinson over there at the bench area as the Soviets leave the ice. So the game is over, and the final score, the Central Red Army 6, the Montreal Canadiens 1.
Everyone knows that things often happen in threes, but they don't always have to be unlucky. Take Direct Film's holiday deal. Bring in 3 films and we'll process them for the price of 2. Did you get that? 1 film out of 3 processed free for any brand of film. There's never been a deal like it. Never.
Direct Film, 1 photo says it all.
But hurry, the 3 for 2 deal finishes January 11th.
For generations, we've made Canadian families smile, and we're proud of that. It's because of a commitment to customer satisfaction our founder made in 1909, and it's still true today. Quality home furnishings from our family to yours.
There's no place like Leon's.
Make Leon's a part of your family today, and smile.
There's your one-sided score. Central Red Army 6, Montreal Canadiens 1 at the Forum tonight. 3 Soviet players earned all 3 stars tonight. Mats Naslund got the only goal for the Montreal Canadiens in the 6-1 defeat. And Matt, should I start with asking where the turning point was tonight, or just a long, rough evening all around?
Well, I think it was a long, rough evening. We didn't play a solid game. We had some bad giveaways, and they scored some easy goals too. It's tough to beat them when we give them chances like we did tonight, because they usually put the puck in the net.
Pat Price, after the Quebec victory, said that everyone gives them too much respect. They don't like to get hit, but it seems to me they handled everything pretty well out there tonight.
Well, I don't think anyone likes to be hit, but it makes it easier to beat them, but they used to get hit. That every game that team played, they used to be hated because they're not popular in Russia either. The Spartak and the Dynamo is more popular than they are, so they They used to get hit and the rough stuff too.
I wondered about Doug Sotard facing them for the first time. Would there be things happen on the ice that he wouldn't really be used to, just facing their style of play?
Well, maybe two of their goals, when they pass it from one side to the other, and the guys one time, I know Makaro scored a goal like that, and that's not typical Canadian play, but it's tough for the goalie, I think, because they're moving the puck so well, and if you're cheating a little bit, they're shooting, so it's tough for the goalie.
Did you get the feeling that the fans took the loss pretty well, all things considered? I don't think that's going to spoil too many New Year's Eve parties, do you?
I don't hope so, but we're having a tough game tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to please the fans tomorrow.
Speaking of New Year's, how would you celebrate this evening if you were back in Sweden tonight?
Well, it would already be done because we are 6 hours ahead. So.
There you go. How bad is that?
But we would do pretty much the same as here. Wait till the clock at 12 and
kiss everybody
each
in
other,
sight.
and we're saying skål, and that's it.
Skål. Thank you, Mats Naslund, for joining us. We have more coming up. You're watching a Molson Hockey Special on CTV.
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop you cold.
Dance to the music. Dance to the music.
Money. Money in action. Working for your business non-stop. That's the promise of the Continental Commercial Banking System. An exceptional combination of cash management and financing that turns money into a hard-working, moving part of your company. To get action banking for you and your business, talk to the Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
One intermission ago, John Ziegler, the NHL president, was here, and he said that Alan Eagleson is tougher to deal with than Soviets. Canadians may not agree with that tonight. But John said that because there are more issues at stake when you deal with the NHLPA, the Players Association. There's more money at stake, obviously. He also said the Eagle is smarter. Here's the smart man himself. Maybe, Alan, you can tell us a bit about the involvement of the Players Association in these international series and how they benefit.
Well, it's an important thing from the pension. It's not a great, when you lose. I've been in this rink a few times when we've defeated the Russians, and I know how much happier a place the dressing room on the other side of the rink is than it is tonight. And you play to win, but sometimes you tie, as that great game 10 years ago, and sometimes you lose, like we did tonight. It was tough because at the 2-0 level, Canadians made a spurt and looked like they might come through, and then just before the end of the second, they made it 3-0, and then it just fell apart. They've got a big game. It's tomorrow night with the Leafs, as Matt said, but I don't think there's anybody out there tonight that wasn't trying his best. It's always nicer and more relaxed as it was in the Canada Cup in '84 when we won. All I had visions of tonight was that other score of 8-1 in the Canada Cup '81, which I'll never forget. Our juniors are playing well in Hamilton. Our midgets are playing well. Our Spengler Cup team played well, although they lost to the Soviets 6-0 yesterday. Internationally, I don't think Canada has been at this high level for some time. We hope to stay there.
Are we getting better? We've had a lot of luck against the Soviets the last couple of years. Are we better, or is the Soviet system in a downturn?
I don't think it's in that much of a downturn. The Czechs have played very well. They beat the Soviets in the World Championships, as did we. And then the Czechs did it right to them again in Moscow. I think in Izvestia, they've won the tournament 12 times out of 14. But this is an important series not only for the opportunity for many players who can't play in the Canada Cup for their individual countries to play against the Russians. In addition, as John explained to you in the earlier intermission, this means a lot to the pension plan. And it will pump into the pension plan for the players this year, probably $500,000 to $750,000 out of this series. So it's rewarding in that sense.
Well, Alan, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to you.
Pleasure, and Happy New Year to you and to your dad, an old pal of mine, and everybody else across Canada, and to my mom and dad especially. Happy New Year.
Alan Eagleson, some final words. Let's go upstairs for some final thoughts from Dick and Ron.
You know, those fellas who played in that game 10 years ago tonight had no idea what they were starting. But, Ron, I guess it's going to be a long time before we get the kind of emotion and even the kind of a hockey game we saw then, and I suppose really it's too much to expect. Here tonight, a good display by the visitors.
It was, and the Canadiens of 1975 and the Canadiens of 1985, two different teams. This is a team that is in a rebuilding process. I would say better than half the team now has less than 2 years experience in the National Hockey League. And they paid the price because the Central Red Army is a terrific hockey team. They don't have a lot of the players that were here in 1975, but they've got some great new players. And some new ones coming up too, but the people like the Makarovs and the Karutovs and so on, those are the people that make that team tick, and they took the Canadiens apart pretty well tonight, I thought.
You mentioned Makarov. He scored 3 goals, and we're going to take a look at the third one, which came in the final period on a Soviet power play.
And it was typical. That's Karutov with the puck there. Tiamonev, by the way, is an import. He replaces Larionov. He's got the puck right there. He plays for Spartak, actually, in the Soviet Union. Now watch it come out in front, and this is a carbon copy of a goal Makarov scored earlier. Tiamonev to Makarov, and into the net it goes. You can see why he wins scoring championships, especially if he's set up like that. But he quickly, no waste of time at all, let the puck go, and it was in the net.
Ron, you follow the Soviet hockey system very closely. Is this the best team right now in their system?
Well, Dynamo is catching up to them a little bit, but you have to remember that basically in the Soviet Union, you're talking about a 3-team league. The best are compressed into a 3-team league, and they use those 3 teams as the feeder for the national team. So if we were to compress the National Hockey League into a 3-team league, I think we'd have a pretty good hockey team out there as well. But the Central Army has been, and I guess will continue to be, the #1 team simply because it's sponsored by the Army, and every Soviet citizen must do his draft duty or his military duty, and so they wind up in there. Some of them are, if they're good hockey players, sometimes they're shunted over to Spartak or the other team, Dynamo in Moscow, but a lot of them stay and remain in the Army and play hockey for the Army, and so the best players seem to remain there.
And a lot of them play very well, as we saw here tonight. Thank you very much, Ron. Ron and Bob Cole doing a super job tonight on the play-by-play. Our post-game show will continue in just a moment.
Join CTV on New Year's Day for over 9 hours of exciting U.S. college football. Coverage gets rolling with the pageantry of the Tournament of Roses Parade from Pasadena, California. Then, it's CTV's kickoff to 3 consecutive College Bowl games. First, the Fiesta Bowl, then the Rose Bowl, and to round off the day, the Orange Bowl from Miami, Florida. It's college football at its best, live New Year's Day. Tonight on CTV's Night Heat.
Get out of my way! No! Mom!
Father?
Hey, you all right?
Don't ever do that to me again.
Thought you might like to do some business with us.
Do me a favor, Tommy. Forget this part of it happened.
You walked right into that one, Kevin.
I feel the night heat.
Final score again from the Forum tonight. Central Red Army 6, Montreal Canadiens 1. In the studio again, Ron Caron of the St. Louis Blues is with us, and you're in the unenviable position of facing this team on Thursday night. How are you going to prepare for these fellows?
Well, you got to prepare. You know, you got to be ready to play and skate, but there's no magic formula to play the Russians. Years ago, not that many years ago, it used to say you block the middle, keep them on the side, don't worry, they don't shoot. Tonight, I was amazed the way they control the play, and all the defensemen are so fast and they participate on the play. And I think basically they intimidated Montreal offensively, and Montreal was trying to take a lead and nurse the lead, but they couldn't get it. And at 2-0, they still had hope. But then a couple of soft goals, the game was over. So I don't think I'm going to talk to Jacques Demers before that.
It's his problem, is it?
That is correct, and I'm going to be away.
Okay, but Ron, you're familiar with what's coming along in Soviet hockey. You're scouting thoroughly all the people coming up. Are they in a state of decline, or are they just as powerful as they ever were?
Oh, I thought 3 or 4 years ago they were missing some players, but not after watching the junior team. And by the way, it's going to be a heck of a game against Canada on the 2nd. It'll be 2 different type of game, but and I watched the midgets this afternoon in Sorel, Quebec. They've found some new players, and let's not worry for them because they've got lots of prospects coming
What
up.
I was wondering tonight was, have they found a replacement for Tretiak yet in goal? How good is this fellow we watched tonight?
You know, he was adequate tonight. He didn't have to, you know, overdo it. I don't know. It's tough to find a replacement for Tretiak. You know, they're working at it, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see. They lost their own tournament, I hear, in Izvestia, and so forth, but...
you also told me they lost one of their very fine young prospects.
Fedosov's brother, Vyacheslav Fedosov's brother, was better than Vyacheslav, and Vyacheslav won the World Junior in '78 here in Montreal and made the All-Star team in the World Cup later on. So they're awesome, and we have to learn, and let's keep learning.
Good luck on Thursday against them. Thank you for joining us. You're watching a Molson Hockey Special on CTV.
Did Tom Sofino kill 16-year-old Barbara Stoppel in this donut shop 4 years ago? That's the question Winnipeggers are asking now that Sofino's been set free. I'm Jim Reed. Join me this Sunday night on W5.
I'm Bill Cunningham in London. While they say that an Englishman's home may be his castle, it's his newspaper that's the flag of his class, and today, Fleet Street's under attack. Join me on W5 Sunday.
Before this game began, Vyacheslav Fetisov, said that the Red Army team would play to its potential tonight because the Montreal Canadiens represented something very big in their schedule. We are joined now by the coach of the team, Victor Tikhonov, and Eggy Kuklowitz, interpreter. Maybe you can ask the coach if his team did indeed play to potential tonight.
Раньше сегодня Фетисов сказал, что наша команда сегодня будет очень показательной. Мы думаем, что очень сегодня играли.
Почему так играли хорошо?
Так.
Ну, мы готовились к этому матчу особенно, потому что в Монреале играть плохо нельзя. Здесь очень любят, уважают хоккей и очень понимают. Публика здесь очень понимает хоккей. И поэтому мы держали сегодня экзамен.
The reason why we played so well tonight is because the people here in Montreal understand hockey, as do hockey cans all across Canada. And we cannot play bad in the Montreal Forum because the people here are good hockey fans.
Much has been made, Aggie, as you know, about our hockey changing, becoming more European. Maybe you can ask the coach how his hockey has changed over the last 15 years.
Сейчас в национальной лиге наши хоккей начинается как европейский хоккей играть. Там есть тоже, ваши хоккей тоже такие, что вы учите из НХЛ.
Ну, мы видим, что в национальной хоккейной лиге черты европейского хоккея уже сейчас наблюдается. Но то, что мы учимся обязательно у национальной хоккейной лиги, у команды Канады, многому, потому что мы считаем, что умение играть с полной отдачей, не жалея сил, постоянно нацеленность на игру от первой до последней секунды, оно дает вот то напряжение, ту красоту, которую мы вот уважаем в хоккее.
Okay, they say that certainly they see the changes taking place. They see teams in the National Hockey League really playing a European hockey. They're changing in that area. But they're also seeing that they have changed a bit themselves. They have learned to play with tenacity from the start of the game to the very, very end, because they noticed over the years that the NHL teams would not give up. And they play with a lot of character. So they have learned this from the National Hockey League, and they are beginning to employ that in their own hockey system.
Я бы хотел еще добавить сюда, что вот эти такие встречи между лучшими командами НХЛ и вот, европейскими командами, в частности нашей команды, они дают очень хорошую возможность приобрести опыт. Они вот такие встречи развивают хоккей мировой.
What he's saying is that he wants to add to what he just said a little while ago by stating that when the National Hockey League and the Soviet hockey teams meet, or anybody from Europe, in this way, that hockey has to benefit from this. I mean, we learn from each other, and this is the reason why we're able to play at such high caliber of hockey as we are today.
One final question. There's been a lot of conjecture here as to who will replace Tretiak on the great Soviet national teams. Did we see the replacement tonight?
Сегодня мы так все так люди говорят, что там ваши братья очень плохо играли, а мы сегодня видим очень хороший братья. Мы можем подумать, что это будет ваши братья на будущее.
Как играл Третьяк, так сложно кому-то сыграть. Это, наверное, такого вратаря долго не будет. Но что касается вот сейчас, вот Мыльников играет, и я сейчас просматриваю молодых вратарей. Я думаю, что вот в ближайшие годы появятся у нас сильные вратари.
He's saying that, before we go any further, there is only one Tretjak, and it's going to be very, very difficult to replace a person like him. However, Melnikov did play very well today, but we also have some young goalkeepers coming up in our system that we think will establish themselves very, very early. They are still young, but they are learning, and with the experience, we feel we'll have somebody that's really, really adequate.
Well, Aggie, would you give the coach our thanks and wish him a happy new year for us?
Мы поздравляем вам и с Новым годом.
Спасибо. Я тоже от всей души поздравляю всех, кто участвовал здесь. И поздравляю всех зрителей, которые наблюдали сегодняшнюю игру, и весь народ Канады с Новым годом. Пожелать счастья, успехов в работе и хорошего настроения на весь год.
He wants to thank you very, very much, and from the bottom of his heart, he wants to convey to the people that saw the game here in the Montreal Forum, and also to the people across Canada, Happy New Year, happiness and health.
Okay, we have to go. We'll be right back.
On the next, Live It Up.
Is your family beef eater? Not big beef eaters, no. That is very nice.
I'm Jack McGaw, and I'm about to fall backwards. They say it'll help me live out a dream.
All this and much, much more on the next edition of CTV's Live It Up. CTV kicks off coverage of New Year's Day college football with a Fiesta Bowl game from Tempe, Arizona. This matchup features the Michigan Wolverines battling the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is up against one of the toughest defenses in college football. Michigan surrendered only 75 points all season. Will the Cornhuskers manage to crack Michigan's amazing defense? Find out New Year's Day, the Fiesta Bowl, the first of 3 consecutive college bowl games, here on CTV.
Well, Dan, my final comment on the game tonight is you have to play the best to be the best, and I think we have to keep on playing these teams from the Soviet Union.
Well, certainly we saw many of the best players in the world. Sergei Makarov, one of them, he had a hat trick tonight. The final score, Central Army 6, the Montreal Canadiens 1. Have a happy and safe New Year, everybody. Good night from Montreal.
Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens. Brought to you by Molson, celebrating our 200th year. The best is yet to come.
Our audience, any rebroadcast, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the CTV television network is strictly prohibited.
This is the CTV Television Network.
It's on now at the Brick. Make no down payment and pay no interest for 1 full year on all furniture. And make no down payment and pay no interest for 6 months on a large selection of top name brand appliances, TV, video, and stereo. Check our full color flyer and buy this complete 5-piece living room package. Includes wall system. Only $888. That's just 12 payments of $74. Guaranteed lowest prices, or we'll write you a check for the difference. It's on right now. Make no down payment and pay no interest with no minimum purchase at all Brick locations.
Warning. Zellers is mixing powerful savings and great Zellers merchandise, and the combination will blast everything out the door. Now, during Bargain Blast, save on Sanyo microwaves. Save $100 on this Super Capacity Deluxe microwave. Save $50 on this Sanyo microwave with probe. And save $30 on this space-saving model. Heed our warning. Get to Zellers Bargain Blast quickly, because savings like these could go at any time.
Okay.
What are you Shoppers Drug Mart guys trying to pull with these red savers?
I don't understand.
Oh, come on. You expect me, a professional consumer, to believe that I can save up to 40% off comparable national brands?
That's right.
And I suppose you guarantee everything?
Absolutely.
Don't push your luck.
That's true. We fully guarantee our whole line of no-frills Red Saver products.
You do?
We do.
He does.
You're gonna be happy.
He does.
Shoppers Drug Mart.
It's on now at the Brick. Make no down payment and pay no interest for 1 full year on all furniture. And make no down payment and pay no interest for 6 months on a large selection of top name brand appliances, TV, video, and stereo. Check our full color flyer and buy this Eternity box spring and mattress, only $336 twin size. That's just 12 payments of $28. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. And it's on right now. Make no down payment and pay no interest with no minimum purchase at all Brick locations.
An unbeatable New Year's Day football lineup. Kickoffs at 1:30 here on CFTO TV.